Right, I've gone live again. Let's hope this works this time. Let's see. So, folks, it is Sunday. It is the it's Sunday and it is the 2nd of March 2025, and I'm having shenanigans with my live streams again. So let's just check and see. So I really let's have the comments. Don't know if there are any comments. Let's have a look. So I can see some guests coming in. If you're coming in, folks, please let me know. I'm having terrible shenanigans again. It is Sunday, the 2nd of March 2025, and shenanigans. It's been all sorts of shenanigans going on, but I am here live streaming and hoping that some of you can find me. So I'm just looking to see. It looks like I'm live. Oh, I can see people coming in now, but can you make a comment? I can't see. Oh, yeah. Oh, Andrew. Hello, Andrew. Right. Okay. Looks like we're in business this time. I had awful shenanigans. Andrew, can you do some tagging of people, please? Because I was all set up, ready to go. I thought everything was fine. I got a phone call and it threw me out completely. And there was issues. So never mind. We are here now. I'm just going to just move the camera down a bit. Whoops. Let's see. Does that work better? I think it does. You'd think I would know how to do these things by now. So, Andrew, how is your day going? I hope it's going well. So let's look in and see on the right. So what sort of day? Well, I can see the numbers going up now. We must be okay. I'm hoping that you can hear. Can you hear me? Can you give me a thumbs up? Hello, Susan. Can you hear me? Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for doing that, for tagging me. What would it be without shenanigans? I don't know. Anyway, what a week I've had. I saw you all last Sunday evening. Last Sunday, I believe I was here, wasn't I? I forget what I'm doing. But last Sunday I was here, and then I went back to my daughter's, didn't I, on Monday? Hi, Kim. I went back to my daughter's on Monday, and then I came back home again on Friday, and in between, good, Susan, thank you. And in between, all sorts of things. Andrew was at an Easter Panto rehearsal this afternoon. Oh, no, he wasn't. Oh, yes, he was. Thank you, Andrew. And at the theatre musical concert. Excellent. You're in the interval now. Oh, right. Okay, that's wonderful. So you've just joined us in the interval. That's great. Obviously, you'll have to disappear again, I suppose, if you're doing a rehearsal at the moment. Thank you for doing the tagging. Can somebody tag Tracy as well? I don't know if she... Hello, Andrea. Andrea's back again. I did go live just now and I was having shenanigans. Andrea was in, but I couldn't see what was happening. So I went out and I came back in. Thank you very much, everybody. Yes, shenanigans on Monday. Travel shenanigans I had on Monday. I've been out and doing some shopping and wedding shopping with the children. I've been over to Freshwater today. It has... Hello, Kat. Hello, Ailey. Yes, so it's been quite a full-on week. But actually, I'm surprised I'm still wide awake because I had a really bad night last night for sleep. I could not get sleep. Thank you, Susan. I couldn't. I fell asleep in the chair last night for 2 or 3 hours. I wanted to go to bed early because I was going to Freshwater today. and I needed to be out before 10 o'clock to catch the bus. That's a bit early for me these days, you know, never used to be. Obviously, when I was working, I would get up and go out at those sort of times. But these days, going out at 10 o'clock, especially on a Sunday, is a bit of a rush. So I thought I'd go to bed early last night, and then I would be up and ready early. Well, I fell asleep for 2 or 3 hours in the chair. And then I decided to do a few bits and pieces. Then I was trying to go to bed, and then I couldn't go to sleep. And I didn't get much sleep last night. So I'm really surprised I'm still awake. I'll try and stay awake and not fall asleep on camera, because that wouldn't be a good look, would it? And so let's see how we go. But I've had a very, very lovely day today. A productive day. A lovely day, taken loads of pictures and videos and all sorts of things, but it has not been without its shenanigans. Now, we have nobody coming in on YouTube at the moment, so does that mean the YouTube's not working? Let's have a look and see. Let's have a look. Are we live on YouTube? There we go. Yeah, that's it. YouTube's on as well. Oh, no, that's an old YouTube. So that's it. Right, okay. So I'm going to carry on the live streaming and see how. I don't know if anybody can one of you hop over to see if we're live on YouTube, because I can't. If I put it on there, it's all going to give you a lot of noise. Anyway, Ailey's saying totally unbelievable that I couldn't get into the disability toilet. What's the point in having a public toilet key when you can't get into the toilet because of a big padlock? Absolutely, Ailey. And I did have a comment from one of the town councillors. I think she's a town councillor today, and I will be taking it up because some of you who were following my shenanigans today will see that when I got to Newport, so I went to Newport on the bus, and when I got to Newport, I thought, right, I've got another hour's journey on the second bus. I better pop into the loo, you know, because I don't last. Sorry, too much information, I know, but I don't last well. Thank you, Kat. I don't last well on long journeys without using the loo. So I'd been to the loo before I left home, and then I decided in Newport I would go to the toilet. There's a public toilet. There's public toilets, and then there's a disability toilet right by the bus station. So I had 20 minutes between getting off my bus that I was on and getting on the bus that I needed to go out to West White. And on the island, there are not many buses go out that way, so you have to time it right. But I was going to be on the bus for nearly another hour, so I thought I'd better go to the loo. So I went to the loo, and as Ailey so rightly said, she saw me do a video, because I did a video of me I could see I wasn't going to get in because I could see a big padlock, but I thought, right, I'll put the key in, I'll turn the key and just show you on the video that I can't get in and the padlock's closed. I am an advocate for disabilities, disability. You will have seen my shenanigans and the rudery I've had on the trains with people who should know better, people who are supposed to assist me on the trains. I've had rudery this week. I had problems last week. I had problems the week before. But I've also had some really nice people too. Anyway, so I couldn't use that toilet before I went on the bus. But Morrison's is just across from the car park. Because I had 20 minutes from getting off one bus and getting onto the other. I mean, I'd lost some minutes now by going to the toilet here and doing the videoing and recording there. I'd already lost some time, but I was watching the clock, because if I missed that next bus, I would probably have to wait an hour or 2 hours for another bus. So I nipped over to Morrison's, and fortunately Morrison's was open and I could use their disabled loo, and that was fine. So I did that, and then I came back and I caught my bus. And I had a lovely journey over to West White. It's really beautiful. The island's lovely. The sun was shining. It was a beautiful day. It's like spring has already arrived, and it was beautiful. Hello, Bob. You're coming in from you're the first one in from YouTube. Excellent. That's lovely. What was I going to say? Yes. So it was a beautiful day. The sun was shining, and I was doing some live streaming from the bus. I found out that I could do a live on Instagram. I've not done it on Instagram before, I don't think. And I was looking at Instagram, and all of a sudden I saw lots of little buttons that it said post or story or reel or live. So I hit the live button and went live on Instagram, which was quite fun because I'm not used to doing that. Not when I set these broadcasts up. I set up Facebook and YouTube together through StreamYard, but it won't let me do Instagram. It says I have to have a business account. So I thought, oh, I can't do it. But anyway, do you like my wonderful hat? I made this hat just now. This is, look, it's got my smoothie hats on it. I haven't finished covering it at the back, but because I've been knitting all the smoothie hats, I thought I'd put them on a hat of smoothie hats to show you. Wait a minute, I've got all bits hanging off. There we go. Oh, look, what's that bit there? Let's tuck that inside. So on my hat, I've got lots of little smoothie hats like that. I thought I'd stitch them all on there for just for a little while before we need them and we take them off. So yeah, so it was just wonderful going to. I have not been to Freshwater. Now the Isle of Wight is only quite small, although it takes a while to get across by bus. You know, if you have a car, you can get around quicker. But I was going, hello Abby, I was going to meet somebody at a cafe. I was going to meet a cafe owner, and it was very productive, and some really interesting stuff came out of that meeting. But I said I would go today if the weather was nice. Because I had pneumonia before. If the weather's wet or very cold, I don't like to be out much. Only because I nearly died when I got pneumonia. Before that, I never bothered. I could get wet, I could get dry, whatever. But it was such a horrible experience before that I don't want to repeat that. So, but because it was a nice sunny day, I thought, well, I'll go. And I was out there, out early. I was, I timed it. I could see the bus time on my app, on my phone. And I know it takes me 8 minutes to walk to get to the bus stop. It's downhill. When I go to Newport, I go down to the bus stop that's downhill. It's strategic when I'm going to different places as to which bus stops I go to. But because I don't walk so well, I need to go downhill, not uphill. Then it helps with my breathing as well. So I timed it, and I timed it to leave home with not much time to spare. So I think I probably had 11 minutes when I left home, 11 or 12 minutes. And so when I got to the bus stop, I didn't have a lot of time to stand around waiting for the bus. That was brilliant because obviously I didn't, hang on, wait a minute. I'm just going to do myself a drink. Sorry. Just doing myself a drink because I was doing all that when I had a phone call with my son just before the broadcast. That's when I would have been getting my drink and all that, and it didn't happen. Susan's saying she hasn't been to Freshwater for ages either, but it was a lovely journey. It was a beautiful journey. The bus didn't have many people on it either, so it was quite empty, the bus. Oh, if you'd have known, you might have gone on the bus with me for a change in things to do. Oh, maybe we could arrange that another time, Susan, when I'm back. I'm back for a week and then I'm gone again. And then we've got a family wedding, and then I expect I'll be back after the family wedding. I haven't got the plans as to when I'm coming back. I'm going off island next Monday, and because I prefer to travel on the Monday. I think yes, I'm trying to think. I've got myself totally confused now. Yes, I'm here for a week. That's right. I've got things to do that I have to do on the island, and I've got new glasses coming from my opticians and all that sort of thing. There's Caroline. Hello, Caroline. I threw out an invite to Caroline today as well because she travels a lot on the bus, And I was looking at her videos that she makes, and I said, oh, she should come with me. So let's have an outing from our Isle of Wighters around the island. I mean, Caroline lives this side of the island where I live. Susan lives in Newport. We could do that. We could have a Go Live Granny outing on the bus. Let's try it. So let's plan something off, not on the camera. You've seen daffodils at Freshwater on the live stream. Absolutely. There were daffodils out there, but in my garden, the daffodils, I haven't got much in my garden because my garden fell apart when I was nearly dying of pneumonia. And I haven't done much with it since. But there is 1 or 2 daffodils about to bloom, but they're not in bloom yet. But in Freshwater, they were in bloom. And it was lovely to see. But the last time I went to Freshwater, it was quite interesting, because the last time I went to Freshwater, my son, the one that's getting married, and his fiance were on the island. You're in. Excellent, Caroline. We'll get this set up and we'll do a live stream with all of us on the bus. And so last time I went to Freshwater, I mean, I spent a lot of time on the island, and I was, I spent a lot of time in Ryde and all that sort of thing. Obviously, when I was ill, I then didn't go out so much, but I do spend a lot of time in Ryde. It's not like I don't spend time, but I don't go to Freshwater very often unless I have a reason to go to Freshwater. Hello, Tom. You're being greetings from Ipswich. Well done. Ipswich is in the house. I don't know where Steve, the window cleaner is. He's not in the house yet. Perhaps he'll come in shortly. He usually comes in via Facebook. No, he doesn't. He usually comes in via YouTube. What am I saying? So anyway, the going to Freshwater, I was last. Thank you, Tom. It's got smoothie hats all over it. I put some of the smoothie hats on it. So I've made a hat full of hats. And this bit I need to chop the ends off of how I sewn them on. But so it's more than 5 years since I was. Hello, Kath. It's more than 5 years since I was in Freshwater. And it's so funny because as I told you, my son's getting married. Well, my son he's done a website for them. You love the amazing hat. I threw it together just now, Kath. It's got the smoothie hats on it. And I sat down at 7:45 and quickly stitched them on. Hello, there's Steve. He's in the house now. He must have heard me say he wasn't in the house. And here he is. And Kath's in. It's lovely. Come to Scotland for a bus trip. You could all visit yourself and Andrew for a week or two. My goodness, I wonder how many hours it would take us to get to Scotland from the Isle of Wight. I did it. Hello, Steve. I did it. I went to Scotland. I did go to Scotland once. I drove from the island to Scotland. When I was a driver, I did that. I had somebody with me when I did that. And we spent Christmas and Hogmanay in Scotland, and that was really nice. You just got in. Okay, well, and kicking your shoes off. That's excellent. Well, come and join us. We've had shenanigans. Oh dear, my light's decided to switch itself off. It keeps doing that. I don't know why. It's an LED light and suddenly it switches itself off. It just goes, I don't know. There we are. Put it back on again, but I don't know. It might go off again. Yes, so I don't know. I mean, it's bad enough getting across the island, Ailey, by bus. So I'm not quite sure that I really want to go all the way up to Scotland by bus. Maybe a train, but then I would have shenanigans, as I have had this week. You remember I got caught in the rain in Fort William. Yes, I did. On Christmas Eve, I was in a car park in the rain, sitting still in a car, and another car reversed into me. I was sitting in a parking space and a car reversed into me. Not an experience I really want to repeat. Anyway, fortunately, no damage done to the car, really, so that was okay. It wasn't my car. I was driving a friend's car. She didn't drive, but she had a car, and then I drove the car. Don't even go there. Don't ask why. Anyway, so I'm now trying to remember what I was supposed to be talking about. I did. I'm like a grasshopper. I go from this to that, and I never finish the conversation. You have to bring me back. And if you want to know, oh, Kat's in Scotland too, you can stay here in Montrose. Well, maybe that's it. Maybe we'll have a Go Live Granny outing to Scotland one day. But I've got to get the wedding, my family's wedding over first. Anyway, let's go back to freshwater. So I remember I was probably last there more than 5 years ago, because it's a wedding. My son and his fiance have set up a website for all the family details and all the news about the wedding on a private website. And I was just looking at it yesterday, and they put loads of pictures of their story from when they met and all the things that have led us now to the wedding coming up. And they put a section on they'd had adventures, and one of the adventures, so they put all these pictures up, and one of the pictures was of them on Freshwater Bay Beach. It was Easter time, I know, because they gave me a chocolate bunny, and they were staying for Easter and then going off island, and they I'm sure they didn't have any children. They didn't, because the photograph didn't have it. It was just them. Well, their daughter is 5 years old, so it must have been, I don't even think that she was a twinkle at that stage. So it's more than 5 years ago, at least 6 years, when I was in freshwater. And it was a bitterly cold day. And so I was sitting in the Albion Hotel with a hot cup of coffee and a chocolate lint bunny. It was only a little one. And watching them on the beach. Well, they took a selfie on the beach, and that selfie is on their wedding website. And it's so funny that it should be this. Yesterday I looked at it. I looked at the website, not knowing I was going to see that picture, and then being in freshwater today and having those happy memories. The Easter eggs are in the shops already, Alf, and you've got a mini egg. Absolutely. I think they've been in the shops since Christmas, to be honest, Steve. I'm sure I saw them before. So, that. How far is Montrose from Invergordon? So, Kat's in Montrose, Ailey's in Invergordon. I'm not quite sure where you are, and Andrew. And I don't know if Andrew's still with us. He's there's an interval. He's doing a rehearsal at the moment for a pantomime. Oh, no, he's not. Yes, he is. And he might have to go, I expect. I'm not quite sure. Beatbot. Hello. Who's Beatbot? Have you been here before? Hello, Beatbot. Probably have. You didn't look, though. No, maybe you didn't look, but I saw them before. Easter eggs always coming out straight after Christmas. So, anyway. I went over to freshwater. There's a project, as many of you, I'm not actually going to go into full details on here. Those of you who know me well know that I have a bee in my bonnet. No, so Beatbot has not been here before. So where are you coming in from, Beatbot? Do let us know. We are a lovely community of people here who get together and chat every now and again. And I'm known as the Go Live Granny. So now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yes, I know. So some of you will know that there's I don't know how to put this without saying too much. I've been over to see one of the people who pays the levy. I'm going to say it. One of the people who pays the awful levy that some of our business owners on the Isle of Wight are forced to pay a levy. It was a very corruptly done thing. It's supposed to be to do with marketing. And as you know, because I do talk about it often, the organisation that's supposed to market the island never goes to speak to these people from whom they take the levy and make them pay the levy. So I just went to have a discussion with one of these people, but it was a very interesting discussion, and I might reveal more in later on when things might, anyway, that's what I'm going to park there now because I'm going to go about all the other shenanigans that happened to me this week. So as I say, you know, some of you saw me having shenanigans with the toilet today in Newport. So yes, we have a wonderful disabled loo, and then you can't get in it. You know, I put my radar key in on that video to show you that the door would not open because there was a padlock across it. What's the point of having a radar key to get into a locked toilet and then doubly locking it so that nobody can use it? And just lucky that Morrison's was open and I could go over there and use it. I know that when Carol comes in, she will tell us that there isn't some sort of app that anybody who has those sort of issues who needs toilet. I mean, we all need toilets. We all need to use the toilet. So, you know, I mean, but some of us need to use it more than others. And you can get some sort of app that shows shopkeepers that you are in need and you need to use the loo. It is very annoying, Steve. It is just ridiculous. Where did you get that hat? Where did you get that hat? I'll tell you where I got this hat. This is a hat from Poundland. I buy lots of these because whenever I do my fancy hats, these are fantastic because lots of holes in it, and I can get my big needle and stitch through the holes, and that's what I did, and I stitched all the hats on. Oh, hello, Patricia. There we go. Oh, Patricia's got me on the television. Oh, am I big? I hope I haven't expanded. I'm still on my weight loss journey, but you know, you've got a bigger screen. I am on my phone and my picture is little. Hello, Hazel, coming in. Good. Hazel saying good morning. Anybody wonder why Hazel's saying good morning? It is because she's in Australia and over there it's morning and over here it's evening in the UK. I don't know if we've got any other international people in at the moment. Let's put that back on. Anyway, yes. So that shenanigans of trying to go to the toilet. So I went across, as I say, I went across to Morrison's and I used the toilet in Morrison's, and I still had time to catch my bus because it was a 20-minute gap, which was fine. And so when I came back, I thought I'll go and look and see if they've taken the padlock off. Maybe, you know, maybe they take it off at 11 o'clock or something like that. So I went to look, and no, sure as eggs is eggs, that door was still locked. Very springy, a very springtime hat. And so again, I was then going back home, but I wanted to use the loo again. So I went. Morrison's was still open, fortunately. It was just after about it was just before 3:30, and Morrison's shut at 4. So I went across to Morrison's, and they have a disabled loo. You don't need a radar key for that one. They have an ordinary loos, and they have a disabled one. Well, the disabled one it had got the red sign on it, so somebody was in it. So I waited just outside. And then somebody came out. Oh, it's autumn for Hazel. It's spring for us. There you go. And so I waited outside, and then I had to sort of pull over to the side because it was a bit awkward because to get into the ordinary loo, you go here and here. To get into the disabled loo, you've got to go in and round there. But if you're like me, waiting for the disabled loo, if you stand here, you're in everybody's way. But that's a natural place. If you don't stand there, somebody else will push in and go in the toilet. So it's a bit of a silly. These people who build these things have not got a clue. So anyway, that was bad enough. But the guy who was in the toilet came out. He was on a mobility scooter, and he was coming out. But in that area outside the toilets, there was an obstruction. It wasn't totally obstructing the way, but it made it difficult for him coming out, you know, putting stuff in front of the disabled loo door. You know, people so need an education. They just don't get it. So anyway, I thought, well, I'm going to go and report that because it might be somebody who's done it, but the store manager might not know. So exactly that's what it was. I went and asked to speak to them if I could speak to the manager, and lovely Vicky came along. She was the manager today, and I explained to her. I said, look, I've just seen so I could actually get round, but it wasn't as easy as it could have been. So I went over there and I said to her, you know, I've just been using the disabled loo and I saw somebody having a bit of an issue. Well, I don't think she realised that all that stuff was still there. Apparently, the loo was out of action the other day. What a good job it wasn't today that it was out of action, wasn't it? Because that would have been a disaster, darling. So the thing that was in the way was a set of barriers that would they would put round to stop anybody going in a disabled loo. Well, the disabled loo was now working, but they hadn't taken the barriers were on a rack, but the rack was in the way, so they needed to remove the whole thing. So anyway, she said that she would do that. Hi Tina, nice to see you. So I was really pleased because that's the sort of thing. If they don't know, they can't do anything about it. So, and she was very fine about it and said yes, she would sort it. And I said, and while I'm here, I'm going to mention something that happened in another Morrison's. I know she can't do anything about it, but was interesting to see her take on it. Some of you will know that I'm gluten-free. Now, if I have gluten, I don't become seriously ill, but I do have a really a reaction. My skin reacts to gluten. So obviously, if I can avoid it, that makes sense, because I don't really want itchy skin. It's not very nice. But I don't get seriously ill. Well, I probably would if I had much, but don't get seriously ill. On the other hand, one of the members of my family, well, one of my children's partners does get seriously ill with gluten. She's a celiac. So you have to be very careful. And again, a lot of people don't know how serious it can be for some people, and they don't really know what to do. So I was in another branch of Morrison's on the mainland, and I explained this to the lady, because you don't want gluten-free touching other things. And in this other store, there was some gluten-free bread, and it was standing on top of ordinary bread. And of course, you can get cross-contamination even on the packaging. So, you know, any gluten-free bread that's sitting on top of ordinary bread, that's a no-no. That's a big no-no. So I mentioned this to the lady just to see her take. I know she couldn't do anything about it because it wasn't another store. But I said, and she said, oh, well, our gluten-free bread all comes in on one pallet. Yes, but you see, it's then what members of staff do when other things happen. So they had some gluten-free bread that was was going on to clearance because of it was on a short date. So they put it on the clearance stand. And on the clearance stand was the ordinary bread as well. So they put it on top, and it's an absolute no-no for people like my, that member of my family. And people don't get it. So I said, how does it work? Because it's really something, it could end up making somebody ill enough to pass away. Just something as basic as that. And so I just wanted to see her take and whether people, whether what Morrison's would do about it. Anyway, I had a good conversation and I was very pleased with that. So let's see the comments. Let's have a look. So Hazel's got Kat says it's a 3-hour drive in for Gordon from Montrose. You live in a lovely part of the world, says Kat. Right, so let's have a look. And Invergordon is beside the sea, says Ailey. Like Ryde is beside the sea, and Freshwater Bay was beside the sea, because you could see in my live streams I was standing in front of the sea. Invergordon is a free port for the tourist ships. Excellent. Spring is on the doorstep. Now, Steve, when I was in the cafe today, it said 17 days till spring. And the cafe owner said some people might argue and say it's 18 days or it's another number of days. He said it's 17 days till spring. I think we've changed our clocks here in the UK. I think I saw that is it next week? When do we change our clocks, folks? I thought I saw the 9th, but that seems a bit early for changing the clocks. I don't know if that's right, is it? Somebody put that on social media, but I'm not sure if that isn't a bit early. I thought it was later in March, but anyway. Steve so can't wait for spring. He loves working outside doing that. Oh, he's a window cleaner. That would be why. Seeing the blossoms appear and the daffs. Excellent. Yes. And where my daughter lives, we were going along the road and there's a whole load of daffodils. They're not in bloom yet, but I bet you next week when I'm back at my daughter's, I bet they will all be in bloom and it will be beautiful along there. Lovely to have Tina in. Whoops, let's see. Wait a minute, the comments are jumping. Anyone seen the Scottish kitchen curtains? Yes. So Ailey made some lovely kitchen curtains for her friend the other day. She put a photo up on the page. And the material was bought from Amazon, £5 a metre. That sounds very reasonable. Everybody saying hello to everybody. Usually the end of March. Yes. Right. Let's have a look. 17 Fab. I've forgotten what the 17 was now. Oh, thank you, Kath. 30th of March, the clocks go forward. Absolutely. Yeah, but somebody had put it up like it for the 9th of March, and I saw it, and I didn't register that was a bit early till now, and I'm suddenly thinking, no, it's not. It would, yes, so 30th of March. Okay, so we spring forward. That's how I always remember it in the UK, because our clocks go forward in spring forward, and they go back in the autumn. So I say they go spring forward and fall back. That's how I always remember it. So the sun's shining all this week. Oh, that's excellent, Steve. That's beautiful. I'm really glad, because I want to go out and about, and I've got a lot of things to fit in this week. I do need to be doing some paper crafting. I have an assignment for the wedding, and I need to be getting on with it. I've got to do a couple of samples and show the bride, and then get her okay on it, and then I can do it. Once I've got the okay on it, I'm sure it will be fine. I've also got a cardigan to finish, as some of you will know. I knitted one cardigan for one of my little granddaughters, and I didn't know it was for the wedding. I was just making it because it was nice and fluffy white wool I had, and I made it for one of them. And then the bride said, oh, they're going to be wearing them in the evening of the wedding, so I better get on and do the second one, otherwise they won't be wearing them. One will be wearing them, the other one won't. But they are mostly done. They're done a lot. I can't do them when I'm traveling because it's white wool, and if you know anything about my shenanigans, my wool would not stay in my bag. My wool would fall on the carriage floor of the train, or it would roll along the bus or something like that. So I do the white wool knitting when I'm home. I'm going to crack on with a lot of the stuff I've got to do for the wedding tomorrow, because then I've got to do other assignments for other things. Especially while I'm here on the island, I need to contact a lot of people about a little project, or not a little project, a big project. So there we go. Last weekend is Mother's Day, and the clocks change. Oh, so the clocks are changing on Mother's Day. Excellent. So also this month I have my daughter's birthday, and we got Mother's Day. So there's a lot going on. And then, but this week, no, it doesn't matter that you're late, Tracy. Just be here, and it's wonderful to have you here. She's late. You're not late. It doesn't matter. It's not school. You don't have to sign in and say, please, miss, I'm here. Come in when you like and go when you like. So hope you're feeling okay today, Tracy. Sending you lots of love. Sending everybody lots of love. So let's nip back to the beginning of the week. So I was telling you about today. I mean, I have had the most marvelous day today. It was just so lovely. I'll finish talking about today. So it was absolutely so lovely. I got to Freshwater just before 11:30, and I went in the cafe to meet the cafe owner. Had some coffee, and then excuse me a minute. Okay. Sam's just come in. Hello, Sam, Jean, and Joyce, and Janet. Lovely to see you all. Ailey's just going off for a shower, working the night shift again, 10 till 8. You take care of your friend Ian, who has had a heart attack. Okay, well, that's very good of you, Ailey. So well done. So go and enjoy your shower. Have a nice shower. Hello, Paul. Paul from Painston in Devon. Paul, who was watched a lot of my live streams years ago, and it's lovely to have you back in again, Paul. I think you came in the other day as well, didn't you? So nice to have you here. So I'm just thinking about, yes, so it was so wonderful. That cafe that I went to today in Freshwater, it was so friendly. And it's run by Ronan and his wife Ali, and although we were going to have a discussion about a certain project, he said that, the customers were coming. I said, it doesn't matter. I said, you talk to me when you can talk to me. When you go and need to serve the customers, go and serve the customers, because I actually like watching people and their reactions and how they interact with other people. And this cafe had so many friendly people coming in. This cafe was dog friendly, and I met some people in there and chatted to some people. Did a selfie with some people who'd got a dog, and they had moved to the island. They hadn't intended to move to the island, but they wanted to go south coast, and then something on the island popped up, and they just couldn't help themselves, so they've moved over here. I met somebody else at the bus stop later who'd moved, who again hadn't intended necessarily to move to the Isle of Wight. She came from South Africa. She'd lived in the UK before, but she's only been a short while on the island, and that's why I was chatting to her while we were waiting for the bus to go back to Newport. So Ian's saying hi. Hello, Ian. Right, so Tracy's been up to Mountjoy Cemetery to visit Nikki and Kezzy today. It was a glorious day. And for those of you who don't know, Kezzy was a gorgeous little girl who lost her life and was very sad. But in her memory, her mum, Nikki, did a lot of fundraising. Tracy was a major fundraiser there as well because they were friends. But very sadly, recently, Nikki's lost her life too. So Nikki and Kezzy are back together. And obviously we remember them, and remember them. If you're a person who thinks praise and that, lots of you will remember them in your prayers. But Tracy also needs us to sort of reach out and give her a lot of love, because obviously she and Nikki were incredibly good friends, and so it's not the easiest time for Tracy, but she's joining in here now, and we have such a lovely audience, lovely viewers in here, that I know that you will all send lots of love to her as well. Thank you. Yes, Steve saying sad to hear of the loss. And Kath saying Ian is very lucky because Ailey's looking after him. If you can get a friend to take care of you at home, it's better than being in hospital. It most certainly is. And Sam has been away watching Dancing on Ice tonight. Excellent. That's jolly good. I didn't watch anything much on TV tonight. I used to watch EastEnders years ago, and then I thought, I don't want EastEnders anymore. There's always tragedies in that programme, and I don't like all that nonsense. It used to be escapism for me, and then I stopped watching it. But I've got hooked again. Well, I've been spending a lot of time with my daughters, and it's one of the things that she uses for escapism. You have to have your own things, don't you? And so going into a world like that, where you can escape. That's what she did. Well, of course, if I'm sitting there with her a lot of the time, I then would say, oh, well, from watching it years ago, oh, well, what happened here, and what happened to that person? So instead of, not watching it when I'm away, I actually do watch it. So I've just caught up on the ones I'd missed this week. But we have been watching Traitors together, she and I. Again, it was something I wasn't watching. And then because I spend a lot of time with my daughter, I watched the most recent series. And I liked it so much that we went back and watched series 1. And now my daughter and I are watching series 2. But we're going to watch it when we are together, because we love watching it actually when we're in the same room. So we've got to wait until I'm back at her place. Because, no, what she decided, I said, but that's another week away. So what we decided was that we would watch it at the same time, not when I'm back. We could watch it before then, because otherwise there's 12 episodes, and it's having each one is an hour long. So we usually would only watch one in an evening, because she has so many other things to do, like ferrying the children here or doing this or that, the other. So we only watch one. So we've decided that we will watch it, but at the same time, and text each other, as though we're having a conversation in the room. because that way we can actually watch it. So anyway, lovely, lots of love coming in there for Tracy. So Tracy, I hope you're feeling a little bit brighter. What a nice day to go and pay your respects. A beautiful sunny day. I bet it was lovely up there, wasn't it? What's your wish list to do? Particularly come dancing this year. I'm hoping that Janet Street poured. Oh, I don't know. So Sam, Strictly will be on later in the year. That's what Sam is talking about. And I don't know when they make up their minds about who's, or when they announce who's coming on. But Sam would like to see Janet Street Porter and Sydney Christmas and Sam Bailey doing Strictly. So that's his wish list. Andrea was watching The Traitors last night, series 1. Yes, so I've watched series 1. And the good thing about watching the previous ones is nobody's doing the spoilers. So I hadn't seen, my daughter and I had, neither of us had seen series 1 or series 2. So she'd started watching series 3, and then I was there, so I was watching it with her. And then, but we had to watch it quickly because people always do spoilers. So if you haven't actually watched it when it's coming out, on the night it's on, then somebody will spoil it, and put something on social media, and then you find out who was the traitor, or who was murdered the night before. I mean, it sounds gruesome, doesn't it? Nobody is really murdered, obviously. It's just but it's quite exciting. So when we went back to watch series 1, there were no spoiler alerts. It's great. And watching series 2, there are no spoiler alerts either. Some programs you can do a watch together, not sure if that's something you could. I don't know, but we would, I would watch it. I would put it up, I would cast it to my screen, because sometimes I watch things on my phone, but I've got a TV in the other room and I can cast from my phone. I've got a Chromecast in the back of my TV, so I can cast from my phone to the TV. So I can have it on the TV, and then I can text her on the phone. So that's what we were going to do. Not quite what I did with Yvonne last year when I didn't have a TV license and I wanted to watch Strictly, but wasn't going to pay a TV license at that stage. I do now, because I have a little bit more money now. I was lucky enough to have a little bit more money, and I think I get good value out of my TV license. But before, I didn't want a TV license. I was, having to save every penny, and I didn't have a TV license. And I mean, I've still not got a lot of money, but now the TV license is something that I value now. But I didn't have one before. So way back then, the only thing I would have had it for was Strictly Come Dancing, but because I wouldn't just buy it for one program. And so Yvonne said to me, ring me up when it's Strictly time. I'll do a video. So we did we went to, a FaceTime, whatever you call it. It's gone out of my head. But we did a call. So I did a video call, and she flipped her phone round and put it in front of her TV. It wasn't very good quality, I have to say, but I could watch Strictly even if it was poor quality. But this year, of course, I got it on my own TV, and I could see it properly, much better. So that was much better than flipping it round. Yeah, so I don't know. So Strictly, obviously, later in the year. So we will see. I've no idea who they might choose. So anyway, but so I've given you what went on in my week, the end of the week before the first of the week. Now I don't know if I can remember back, because I travelled on Monday, and I know that three weeks in a row I've had shenanigans at Reading. Reading was my maiden name, actually, funnily enough. But I usually change trains when I go from here to Wiltshire, to where my daughter is. I change trains at Basingstoke, and I was chatting with Jackie Hennessy online, because she saw that I was well looked after at Basingstoke, and she commented, because she lives in Basingstoke, and I said to her, I've never met Jackie. I've said to her, one time when I go through Basingstoke, I need to stop at Basingstoke for a while and meet her for coffee. because it's lovely to meet up with people who come into my broadcast, and some of you I know personally, and some of you I don't. So it's nice to meet up with some of them. So that's a possibility. Hey Bob, did you go out and come back in again? And then so that's a possibility. But anyway, in the past, my changeovers are mostly I go through Basingstoke and Reading, and then onto my stop in Wiltshire. And usually Reading has been really good. Right, okay, Bob, you're back. Reading had been really good. It'd been one of the better stations. I mean, Basingstoke was not bad, and Reading was very good. And then it all deteriorated 3 weeks ago. I think that was when I was coming back from the north, wasn't it? Having seen my son, the one that's getting married, because I'd gone up for a hen do for his fiance, and that was the week. That was the time that I had the journey from hell, including a member of the passenger assist people who said, "I'm not getting you off the train. You're not on my list." Well, I might not have been on his list, but the way he spoke to me was not okay. Yes, explain it, but explain it nicely. You went to the Fighting Cocks for dinner. All right, okay, excellent. And so, be polite. When you can be anything in this world, be kind and be polite. It's not a lot to ask. It doesn't cost anything to be polite, and it doesn't cost anything to be kind. And this really, I spent 30 years teaching children good manners, kindness and politeness. And, my gran always used to say it would show lack of breeding, that sort of thing. That's the expression she used to. You saw my shenanigans post on Facebook earlier in the week. Yeah. Oh, well, it was a nightmare. Yeah. So Monday, I was going back to my daughter's, and then Friday I was coming back to the island. And so the week before, I'd had major issues at Reading. And I'd had major issues all the way through on the journey. I was nearly in tears. It was only because Kath and John had arrived on the island when I got to the island, and they picked me up from Cowes, because I ended up at Cowes instead of Ryde. I go to Ryde because I live in Ryde. Why would I want to go to Southampton and across the other way and then get another 2 buses once I was on the island? That doesn't make any sense. But because of all the shenanigans, it was awful. Richard was able to help me by actually explaining which train I was even on. Hello, Gaz. Nice to see you in, Gaz. Is it your birthday today, Gaz? I think it is. I think it's today, or it's either this weekend. And I'm just going to stop and I'm going to sing to Gaz. So excuse me, talk amongst yourself, or please would you all put up some emojis for Gaz? It's his birthday today, and I had some memories pop up of last year when we were together, and he'd said something about presents that I'd given him last year, and I couldn't remember what I'd given him. And then it all popped up, and it was, we are crafting friends. And so I had made him some crafty. I made you a cup and saucer, and a teapot and a cup, and I put some chocolates in them. So that was nice, just a little something. And those memories popped up. But it was so nice. But I couldn't believe it was that. It was a year ago, Gaz. Just can't believe how fast the time goes. So anyway, I knew it was around now. I couldn't remember what actual day it was, but you did. It's on your inspiration still. Oh, wonderful! Gaz is saying that the teapot and cup that I made him is put it on his inspiration shelf. Well, Gaz is an absolute inspiration to me. He does some amazing crafting, and he's now what do you call what's your title, Gaz? You are doing crafting for one of the craft companies, aren't you? So what do you call it? Oh, look, there's all birthday things. Susan's, look, you can't see if you're on a different channel. So there we are. Look, Susan's put in all sorts of cakes and all sorts of bits and pieces. Tracy's put presents and balloons and streamers. Steve is saying happy birthday to Gaz. Happy birthday to Gaz. Happy birthday, dear Gaz. Happy birthday to you. And he hopes that it was in tune. Well, it certainly wasn't the way I sang it, because my siblings always told me I had the most horrible singing voice. So there we go. Paul's wishing happy birthday to you, Gaz. Hazel's putting in. She's. I can see a glow. It's small on my screen. Sorry. So there's somebody blowing streamers, and there's a monkey. Is a monkey doing that? I can't see. And there's cake, and another cake, and looks like a biscuit, and a glass of wine. Right, here we are. This is his title. He's a design team member for Hunky Dory. And so when are you going, Gaz, you must let me know when you're going to be doing anything. So are you on screen demonstrating? Is that what you do now? I presume that's what you do for Hunky Dory. So I would love to let me know when you're going to be doing that. So Steve's saying ha ha. I don't know whether he's saying ha ha to my awful voice or whatever. Andrea's put a cake and a kiss. There we go. And Bob's saying, everybody sing to Gaz. 1, 2, 3. Right, I'm going to do this now, and I want you all to sing with me. I've sang already, but Bob suggests we all sing together. So let's all sing together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gaz. Happy birthday to you. I hope you had a wonderful day. Bob's giving you loads of cakes with candles on, and Ian's just arrived and is wishing you happy birthday, and he's got people with blowers and streamers. Patricia's wishing you happy birthday, Gaz, and Bob is putting some emojis in, streamers and blowers and balloons, and I can't see what that is, and a parcel. So Gaz is saying he makes sample cards, and they show them off on the shopping TV, and they are on websites, and sometimes they pop up in the bi-monthly mag. Oh, excellent, Gaz. Please point me in that direction, because that would be, I would like to see what's going on there. And Gaz is very happy. Look, thank you all so much. And I'm very happy with Gaz because he gifted me a craft item, and I'm looking forward to using it. I've ordered the mat and I've ordered the blade, Gaz. It took me a while to do it because I didn't know where to have them sent, because I was going there and going here, and I needed to make sure that when they were sent, I was going to be wherever the parcel was going and not having them left on my doorstep, that sort of thing. So Ian's, I don't know if Ian's put something there, but I can't see what it is. It's on where I'm reading the comment, there's nothing. When I put it up on the screen, there's a little white square, but I can't see what's on the little white square. And Bob has got a birthday next week. So if you remind us next week, Bob, we will sing to you. So Gaz is saying, whoops, hang on, wait a minute. Oh, hang on. Kath is saying happy birthday, Gaz. And Gaz is saying, I hope you have a great birthday, Bob. And Steve is saying, how old will you be, Bob? He may not want to tell. He may. It's up to you. You don't have to tell if you don't want to. But Steve is going to turn 60 next summer. Well, I'm trying to remember back to when I was 60. I was 60 14 years ago. I'm going to be 75 later this year. Now, Ian's not been very well recently. Ailey is your guardian angel. You got stents fitted. Well, you just take it easy, Ian, and make sure you look after yourself, and make sure Ailey, you do what Ailey tells you to do. I presume that will work okay. Right. So Bob is saying thank you. Susan's saying she loves the honky dory craft items. I'm putting the comments up because if you're on Facebook, you can't see the YouTube comments, and if you're on YouTube, you can't see the Facebook comments. So that's why I'm putting them up. Oh, Ian was trying to send a picture of a guardian angel. It might have been that, but it didn't show on my screen, so I couldn't see what it was. Thanks for explaining, Ian. Let's have a look. You're going to be 89. I don't know if you're really going to be 89, or if that's right, or whether you're having a game because you don't. I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Nobody has to say how old they are if they don't want to. So Steve's saying, there, look, Steve's put, Bob. Oh, Tracy's saying Ian's put a happy birthday gif up. I don't know why it doesn't show on my screen. And Ian's going, he's 20, he's 21 again every year. So, and on the 14th, oh, look, we've got birthday on the 14th. So you're a birthday boy. We've got a wedding in our family coming up. We've got my daughter's birthday coming up. The wedding day is the same date as one of my granddaughters. She's got a birthday. So when the wedding was arranged, they asked her if she minded having her birthday on the wedding day. And I know there's going to be a birthday cake for her at the wedding. She doesn't know that yet, but I know that. So Steve says, are you really? You were the youngest one on here and very handsome too for 89. There we are. Look, I think he was teasing because he's actually going to be 32. If that's on next Sunday, right? If it's next Sunday and you come in the broadcast, we will sing to you and we will do some more emojis. You know, that would be good, won't it? Because, and I might even find my happy birthday hat, but at the moment I haven't got a clue where it is. So you'll just have to have this. This is a fancy hat instead. And look, there's one of the little smoothie hats I knitted. That one didn't quite get onto this hat. This is a hat full of hats. Oh, and talking of these hats, Andrea's having a wedding anniversary at the end of the month, 40 years. So we could sing happy wedding anniversary to you if you tell us when. And if you remember when we're doing a broadcast, we can do that. So, oh my goodness, happy birthday for next Sunday. Come on here so we can all celebrate next Sunday. Yes, that's it, folks. So we're going to have another virtual birthday party next week. Oh, it's all birthdays and celebrations. That's good, isn't it? And Ian's saying, Ailey works 10 till 8 housework and watching you sleeping. If you stop breathing when you're sleeping, Ailey can do survival and phone for an emergency ambulance. Well, that's very good, Ailey. That's really good. And obviously, that's a blessing for Ian, and it means he doesn't have to be in hospital, because it's much better not to be in hospital if you don't have to be. So let's just say, so I'm hopping about in my week. What else happened? Oh yes, this week when I was going, I can't even remember what happened. I would have to look. I know that when I had issues on Monday. So wait a minute. I didn't have issues yesterday. I had issues on Monday, and or did I have issues? I can't remember, mate. Did I have an issue on Friday? I think yes. I think that I just have to look at my social media to find. But what the failings have been with the passenger assist. Cheers, Lynn. Thank you. Good night. Good night to you. Bob saying, yes, Lynn, I will be showing this channel to all of my family because this is such a wonderful channel. Excellent, Bob, and a wonderful community. That's brilliant. Friday, I was traveling. Thanks, Kath. Yes, Kath's reminding me. So I was traveling on Friday, and that's right. This Friday, I did have shenanigans. I had shenanigans and rudery. That's right. It was Reading again. So I've had the issues at Reading 3 times in a row, and so this time, yes, I was coming from Wiltshire to the island. So I get to Reading before I get to Basingstoke if I'm going that way. When I go the other way, it's Basingstoke, Reading. So I got to Reading, and I should have had a passenger assist. I book it, and I book it usually the day before, or sometimes 2 or 3 days before. When something went wrong the other day, somebody said, well, when did you book it? I thought, what does it matter when you book it? If you've booked it, you've booked it. You know, if mistakes happen, things happen, life happens, but people don't have to be rude. And that's what I don't like. When they're rude to me, that is a no-go. It's not okay to be rude. And I have had So this time I got to Reading and I was looking for the passenger assist people, and there was nobody there. Oh yeah, there was. Sorry, that's not. I'm muddling up the different days. There was somebody there, but he had got a wheelchair, and I thought, oh, has he got the wrong message that I need a wheelchair? But there was another lady who'd got a stick, and it was her he was meeting. So he got her off and put her in the wheelchair. And I said to him very politely, I said, oh, I'm supposed to have passenger assist. He said, well, I'm not here to help you. And he said it like that. You know, he could say, I'm sorry, madam, I'm dealing with this lady, and that's perfectly fine. Just remember your manners. But I have to get my Navy Nora, which is my wheeled walker, off the train. Sometimes passengers will help me if they see me struggle and passenger assist is not there. The light's gone off again, but I'll leave it off this time. It's very rude, absolutely rude with a capital, as you've done it. And so this chap, what he did, he was aggressive. He grabbed my Navy Nora and pulled it onto the platform like that. Well, that's okay, because she really, you know, she can't really hurt her much. Might hurt her feelings by doing that, but she does have a personality of her. He did that, but forgetting, I have the ramp because my legs don't work like they used to, and if there's a step, a big step, I can't do it. If you've seen any of my social media where I'm, you know, getting into my daughter's car, she's got a people carrier, and the step is big, so we have a little step for me to stand on to get into her vehicle. And some of you will see that a week ago, you know, the previous time, we left it behind. I got in the car, I shut the door, she did something at the boot, and then we forgot it was there and we drove off without it, so we had to buy another one. So that's the reason being, my legs don't work like they used to work. You know, I've got a new bathroom here now, which is wonderful because my shower is I could get into it on the flat. In my ensuite, I have before I had my bathroom converted, I've got a shower in my ensuite. There's a big step, and I had to buy a step even to get into my shower before. Right, so Steve's saying, I hope your nan's okay, Bob. Oh, wait a minute, hang on, let's see, wait a minute, I've missed some comments. Friday I was travelling. Ian says he has a local toilet key. I hope I don't get caught out like you, Lynn. That's right, because that was just awful. Bob is on the bus to Sydney tomorrow to see his nan at the hospital. He sees her one time a week. That's very nice of you to go and visit. Yes, you're saying how rude. Steve saying, hope your nan's okay, Bob. That's nice. She's been in hospital since October. Oh, that's a shame. But I hope they're looking after her well. Now, Ian's saying, but yes, well, you see, this is it, isn't it? If the toilets were closed, I would go behind a bush, then end up getting lifted by the police. Exactly that. I mean, this is my point. You know, it's a bit easier for men to go behind a tree than it is for women, but you know, we're not supposed to do that. It's an offence, and you can get arrested for it. So what am I supposed to do if I can't get in the toilet and I have an accident? Then what? You know, will I be run in because whatever? Anyway, that I'm making complaints about that to the council. It sounds like I'm a big complainer, doesn't it? Because I've got complaints to go into the railway people, because some of you will have seen that too, that the issue I had when I put a previous claim in. I think I mentioned this last week, not sure if I did. I put in a claim because I was more than an hour late home one time, and I got the thing back saying, oh, but the train wasn't late. But I've got the evidence on the video I did on the platform to say, no, the train wasn't late, but you wouldn't let me on it. So I was sitting in the waiting room videoing the train leaving without me. And you can hear my commentary saying, look, there's my train. It's going without me because the guard wouldn't let me on. So I've got to go back and put that claim in again. But of course, these things are automated when you do the claims. So there's nowhere to load that evidence. I've got to go back. They sent me an email saying, if you don't think this is right, get in touch with us. So I've now got the palaver of getting in touch with them and saying, well, actually, the train wasn't late, but you didn't let me on it. So I've got all that nonsense to do. So that, I mean, it's just, I don't like the rudery, but also the passenger assistants who are really good, who've helped me when I've had one of these disasters. They're just so nice, the rest of them. Why the others can't be nice? And when I had when on Friday, when the guy grabbed my thing and got it off the train, I then had to very carefully get down that big step so that I didn't fall, and he'd gone off into the distance, and so I walked up. Normally at Reading, somebody will help me from the train I'm on, because Reading is one of those big stations where you go up the platform, then you have to go along, then you have to get in a lift, then you have to go up, then you have to go along the concourse, and then you have to go down in another lift over here. And sometimes you need a little bit of help doing that. And so most things are automated. It's very frustrating, says Steve. They are. It's very frustrating. So because of the palaver of not being got off the train, by a passenger assistant came to help me, they would normally help me. And then sometimes we don't have a lot of time, but sometimes they message ahead to get somebody to put the ramp down on the train I'm going to, because if the ramp is already down, the train can't leave without me. Tracy's saying, trouble is, if you get one rude member of staff, it gives the rest a bad name. It does, except that some of them they've made up for it in being so nice. But if I've got a bit, I mean, a lot of my travel shenanigans, as you know, as you've seen in the past, I have a bit of fun with. It's a bit comical some of the time. And, because I nearly died of pneumonia, none of these things are life-threatening. But sometimes when I'm tired, and like when I was coming from the north all the way down, and I ended up at the wrong side of the island, I was so tired, and I was nearly in tears that time. And it was only Kath and John that rescued me and brought me home in their car. It was wonderful. It is bad that it all has to be sorted out. Yes, Gaz, it wastes a lot of my time that I could be doing charity stuff with. This is what makes me cross about it. So anyway, because of the faffing around on Friday, I wasn't quickly off the train. I had to wait for that guy to sort the lady and her wheelchair out, which was fair enough. And then I had to get off. There was only a short connection time. Sometimes there's like 20 minutes. Sometimes there's like 7 minutes. And if 2 or 3 of those minutes disappear, and then you've got to do all that running around a station, you're not going to catch the train. So I had to make my own way to the lift and up to the concourse, and there was the information desk, because I knew that once I was up in the concourse, there was 1 minute to catch my train, and there was no way I was going to get across the concourse, down in the lift and along the platform and get onto the train in 1 minute. So, I said at the information, I said, this is what's happened. And there were 3 people in the kiosk. There are 2 ladies. And then there was a gentleman called George. And the lady said, oh, well, you're not going to catch that train. We'll have to do something. We'll have to sort this. And George said, I'll escort this lady. So he took me down, which was nice, but it's just so unnecessary. And actually, he did escort me down, and I actually was going out this time from the same platform I'd come in from. So I went back to the same platform, which I was a bit confused about, because usually I have to change and go over somewhere else. But the train had come in on that other platform, so I went back there. So what he took me back to where I started, put me in the waiting room, and said, I'll come back and get you when the train is here. And sure enough, he did come back and get me, and he put me on there, and we did a selfie, and and we did his thumbs up. And those are the sort of people that you want round you, people who actually care. And if they are in the customer care section, like this other guy was, who grabbed my trolley, he is a customer care person. So why the hell is he doing a job like that if he can't be polite to another customer who he can't help properly, but you know, it doesn't make any sense to me. But the people who were helping me, the nice ones, they said you must report it, and I said, oh, I will report it, but you know, sometimes you're not sure who to report to, because sometimes it might be one it's it's just difficult, because sometimes I'm on a cross-country train, sometimes on a southwestern train, sometimes I'm on Great Western, sometimes the staff are Great Western but the train is southwestern. You know, it's so confusing to actually know where you should make the complaint. But I will. I mean, I'm not going to give up on these things, because it is important that, you know, they get it right. But really, it was quite interesting on Friday. I need to look at my tickets, because although I missed my train and they got me on another one, there wasn't a huge gap before the next one came. So I must have had quite a lot of time in between, maybe the getting in at Portsmouth and the hover bus, or getting round and that, because I actually got on the same hover I was originally supposed to be on. So I wasn't late on Friday, but had missed my train. But I was still on the same hover. So I obviously caught up time. Sometimes when I'm on a journey, the connections are very quick, you know, and you have to get them, and otherwise you miss it. Sometimes they might be like 20 minutes. So I think that must be what happened on Friday. There were bigger gaps in some of the spots. So although I missed this train, I made for it up for it over here. I just need to look at those tickets to see what happened, because I couldn't work it out. I don't need to work it out. It doesn't matter. Your friend Jean says, good night, Lynn. She's going to sleep now. Thank you, Sam. That's nice. Good night, Jean. Why do you have to pay for the toilets in the UK? It sounds so frustrating. This is Bob saying this, because I would not be able to, because I live in a small dally in Adelaide, Australia. I don't know. I don't know why we have to pay. And of course, there is a lot of vandalism in the toilets. So that's what they're saying. Well, we'll keep them locked because there's vandalism. Okay, so then I shall just have to pee on the floor. Is that not a form of vandalism as well? You know, and how nice would that be for me if I didn't get to the toilet and I actually did pee my pants? You know, sorry, what a conversation to have on a Sunday night. But that's, you know, it is one of those things. Do I travel first class, says Kat? Well, it depends. I don't pay for first class. I get the very cheap tickets. You know, I go on the apps and I find all the cheapest way to do it, because I'm traveling a lot. And although I do get a lot of my ticket money back, sometimes I have to fight for my ticket money back, but I do have had quite a lot of ticket money back. But I still want to, you know, just in case I'm not going to get it back, I need to make sure I do it as cheaply as possible. I have a disabled rail card as well, so that takes the price down. If you're traveling much, get a rail card, whether it's you know, they do them for seniors, they do them for disabled people, they do them for all sorts of different rail cards. It really reduces the cost. Bob's saying he pays for first class, but sometimes, Kat, I do travel in first class. Now, Great Western is the best as far, or has been the best so far. Southwestern pretty close behind them. Cross country, the worst. I think Avanti West Coast were quite good, but I've only travelled on them once, I think. So Great Western, they one of the disabled areas is in first class on the Great Western trains, and so for them it's easier to put me in first class. So I often get in first class. I think sometimes there's two disabled areas, one at one end of the train and one at the other. I still don't get why they do that, and they don't put the disabled in the middle, because I end up being at one end of the platform with my passenger assist person, because they were told that that's where the disabled place was going to be, and then sometimes there's only one, and it's the other end of the train, and we have to go right down the whole length of the platform and trying to go at speed, because otherwise, so sometimes the passenger assists go ahead of me, they go faster than me, and they get the ramp down so the train won't leave, because it won't leave with a ramp attached to it. Well, it shouldn't. It hasn't yet. I suppose it's the first time. So, so Bob says he pays for first class because his dad works for the airport. Okay, that's that's good. But no, so often I have been put in first class if it's Great Western Railway, and not only that, Steve's just made me laugh. I don't know where Richard came from. I'll tell you his comments in a minute. So sometimes I even get given a free cup of coffee, because when they come through with the coffee thing, if they're coming through the first class bit, I suppose the people doing that think that everybody in first class is first class. The first time they put me in first class, I said, no, I haven't got a first class ticket. I don't want to get fined or thrown off. But they said, no, it's easier for us. So that's all right. Steve's saying he might have to hire a portaloo to take with him during his window cleaning, as he had a cup of tea at every house yesterday. Oh, my goodness. There were 6 houses. I may have a pee problem too. The subjects we talk about on here, or take a second bucket, he says. Anyway, Kat's saying thanks for the info, because she was asking about, the first. She was asking about first class travel, but on cross country, and that day they wouldn't let me on the train. I was with my passenger assist guy, who's really nice, and it was very busy. I think a train previously had been cancelled or something. It was very busy on the platform, and he said cross country won't let us. He didn't work for cross country. He was obviously Great Western, I think. He said cross country won't let us put you in first class. He said so he must have been Great Western. He said we put you in first class, but cross country won't let us do that. So we were down the end that was not supposed to be first class, and the train was in, and all these people getting on the train, but we couldn't get in where I was supposed to be. I got a seat reservation, but we couldn't get in because the train was too full, too many people. It was just a nightmare. So the passenger assist guy said, come on, we'll go up the other end and see if we can get in first class, because they couldn't get me on there. So we're going up the platform, and the guard's going, and I don't know whether he was saying you can't get in because it's first class, but he did say it's full. So maybe it was full. We couldn't actually see in. It was quite difficult to see in. Sometimes the disabled bit is round a bit of the corner of the train, and you can't see in through the window, that bit. So everybody else got on that train except me. And Dan the man, it was Dan the man who was trying to help me. So I even know the name of the passenger assistant who couldn't get me on the train. When I rang passenger assistance the other day to get assistance booked for the next time, I said to him what had happened, and I said, does anybody put any notes down about things like this? And there was a note put down that the train was full. So, because you see, this is what happened. They checked the time. I have to submit my tickets, what tickets I was on and the times of the train. And they said, well, the train was only 1 minute late. But it wasn't. Yes, the train was only 1 minute late, but I wasn't on it. So thank you. You love my nails. They're wedding nails. I'm mother of the groom, and this is what I'm going to have for the wedding day. Look, that's the colour of my outfit. Thank you. So, I get lost. I'm starting to have to make notes down with all these things. Otherwise, when I go to do a claim, I have to go back to my social media to see what happened that day. And that's how I remembered that I'd missed the train, because they wouldn't let me on it. Because when I did the claim and it said no, I thought, well, I know I was late that day. What was all that about? And I just had to scroll back on my Facebook page to find out why I was late, because my memory, doesn't serve me very well these days. I keep forgetting things, but that's a bit of an age thing. I don't know. Perhaps some people, my daughter says she forgets things, and she's a lot younger than me, obviously, but it is what it is. And when I forget things on here, I get you to help me. If I sort of started something and then forgot where I was going, somebody always helps me and reminds me, which is lovely. I do love and value my audience here. And there was a guy who told me I was rubbish because I didn't have 3 million viewers like he had. I don't want 3 million new viewers. I love my small audience. I love talking personally. Can you imagine if I had 3 million viewers watching me? First of all, we'd have a load of trolls being rude, and then the comments would go, they'd be going so fast I would never have a hope in hell of keeping up with them, would I? So we don't want 3 million viewers, and it doesn't make me any less good at doing the doing the socials than somebody who's got 3 million. Why would I want 3 million? I wrote to the guy and said, well, I'm 74 years old. I'm not sure that I really want 3 million viewers. So Tracy's saying it's a good job I live stream. Imagine trying to prove it if you hadn't live streamed it. Not everyone live streams, so how would they prove the fact that exactly, Tracy? And I wouldn't be able to get a refund if I hadn't live streamed it. Absolutely. Unless I could have got hold of Dan the man or the notes that were put down to say that it was late. But I don't know how well they've documented it. They might just have said it was late, but they might not have got enough documentation. I don't know. So yes, it is important. And so I'm really glad, and when of course I found my video of me sitting in the waiting room on my own, and I did it, and you could see me. I was doing a video, and when it's a video, you can't flip the camera around. So what I do is I do it on me, and then I sort of turn the camera so you can see. And I was doing that, and I said, "Oh look, I'm in an empty waiting room," and I showed the waiting room, and then the train left the station. I said, "Oh, and that's the train I was supposed to be on," but they wouldn't let me on it, and that's all on that video, fortunately. So that's one of the things I've got to waste time on this week, making sure I get that claim in, and that was about a £40 ticket, so that was a little bit more expensive than I usually have because I was going round to Cambridgeshire, so it's a bit of a longer journey, but there we go. You were watching it. Excellent. Yes, I'm really glad I document everything, because I wouldn't remember, and then I wouldn't be able to claim all that money. I mean, this week I'm not claiming because although I missed my train, I still got to the island on time, and the people the other people at Reading helped me, and then the people at Basingstoke were wonderful, and they made up for it because yes, that's right, because we had to hurry. That's it. I think it was at Basingstoke there would have been a bigger gap if I'd have been on the other train, but of course the gap had suddenly narrowed down, and they wanted to get me on the next train, and that's probably how I still caught my own, the hovercraft I was due to be on, because they were quick at Basingstoke. And you know what some of them do, the really good ones, if there's only a little gap like that, they will message ahead to their colleagues and say, get the ramp down, we're coming. And some of them say, I'm going to run ahead and put the ramp down, so once the ramp is down, the train can't go because it shouldn't go with a ramp attached to it. So they're really good. And that's their job. It's what they're supposed to do. Even if I'm not the right passenger, they don't need to be rude to me, and lots of them are not. Jack at Basingstoke, he got a gold star from me. Well, he will get a gold star. Tracy, I know you're still waiting for your gold stars that I promised you years ago. It's a virtual gold star. No, I must find you a gold star. And Jack at Basingstoke definitely gets a gold star this week because he was definitely trying to catch up and get me on that train. And as we were going into the lift, one of the passenger assist guys I had the previous week was just going by. Now they're watching me. Of course, it's what they're paid for, Tracy. That's why it doesn't make any sense. It is their job to do it. Ooh. So anyway, we were just getting in the lift. I was getting in the lift with Jack, and Alan walked past. Now, Alan was the guy who the previous week was the one that I photographed. He was on the phone messaging Reading. That's right. So this was Basingstoke. It's when I was going the other way. So I came to Basingstoke first and then to Reading. He was messaging Reading, telling them which carriage I was in so the passenger assist people could be there. And that's when I got to Reading that time. Another guy was rude to me and said, you're not on my list. And so that's two of them at Reading did the same thing in 2 weeks. You're not on my passenger list. You're not supposed to be on this train, he said. No, I'm supposed to be on another train that I didn't catch. Not my fault. So I don't know how they can be happy with themselves when they just treat people like that. It's not an okay thing. And yeah, so that's right. So Alan was the one who I photographed. He was on the phone on the train with me, messaging ahead to say where I was going to be. And then, the guy was looking for somebody else. He was looking for a blind passenger. Well, I didn't ever see him connect with anybody, so maybe the passenger wasn't on the train. But he was still wandering up and down saying, no, you're not the passenger I'm come for. So he's wandering up and down, and that was the time I didn't end up getting off the train, and that was the day I ended up going to Southampton instead of Portsmouth. But he said you're not. He knew me because he's seen me before. He said you're not on my list. Well, maybe they get a lot of hassle during the day. Even if they do, Steve, and I know what you're saying, most people can still be pleasant. If you're customer facing, it's what you should do, and I'm sure you understand. Of course you understand that. I just don't. If you're doing a job that's customer facing and you can't be polite, then get out and go and get a different job where you don't have to deal with customers, is what I say. Yes, there will be days when it's lots of hassle, but there are still people who can be so polite even when they've had a day from hell. Because I've been going through some of these stations when they've been hellish. All hell's breaking loose. All trains have been cancelled. Nobody, the cross country wasn't giving the Avanti West Coast staff any information when all those trains were cancelled at Christmas time when I was there. But the Avanti staff was still as polite as anything. So it's true. Passenger assist are being paid for not assisting the passengers and no customer service. Obviously, these people don't need specific qualifications for the job. No, and it's just so rude. Anyway, I spent 30 years teaching children good manners, so hopefully a lot of the people I taught will still have good manners. I hope so, because to me, that's a major part of education. When I was teaching my little ones, I had somebody say, oh, you will guarantee to teach my child to read, won't you? And I said, no, I won't. I ran a nursery school, and I prepared children for going into big school. And some children, obviously more advanced than other children in what their learning was. But to my mind, part of the education is actually being able to do things for themselves. Can they put their coats on? Can they pull their pants up when they go to the toilet? Sorry, we're getting back to the toilet talk again. But, can they blow their nose? That's all part of their education as well. I will not guarantee. What's the point of me guaranteeing to try and teach your child to read if they can't pull their knickers up? It was just a snob thing with some people, and that woman who said that to me, I stood my ground. I ran my own nursery school. I was my own boss. I'd set it up from starting with one child and my own child, the one who's getting married now. He was 18 months when I started my school. He's going to be 50 this year, and and I built that from just 2 children up to then being full for years and years and years. I was dedicated to what I did. I absolutely loved it, and I nurtured those children. So Steve is saying, I bet you are a wonderful and popular teacher. I can say I was, Steve, and that's not being big-headed. I nurtured those children. I wanted to give them the best experience in life, but I had a wonderful collection of letters from parents. So I know that, you'd get the odd parent who would, try and take you to task over something. But I always stood my ground if I knew that this was best for the child. Sometimes the parents are trying to push their children. I had a child in my nursery whose skin was she scratched her skin so badly. It was the pressure her parents were putting on her to achieve. These children in my nursery school were under 5. Do not put that pressure on them. You make life fun. Let's have lots of fun, and they will learn as a consequence. Tracy's saying, perhaps I need to teach the passenger assist some manners too. Just see it now, Lynn on the concourse teaching adults to be polite. Well, I would give it a go. And Steve's saying, good for you, Lynn. Probably things are so different today. They are so different today. I would probably get arrested these days if I was teaching in school, because one of the best ways I ever had of helping children, if a child fell over and was distraught or something had happened, picking them up and giving them a good cuddle and then popping them down again was the best medicine. But of course, you can't do that now, can you? You're not allowed to. And I get it, because there is a lot of abuse. I am aware of that. But, where's the happy medium in any of it? Because so often we would not have so many anxiety and mental health issues if that was still allowed to happen. And I know that when my own children went to school, so I had them in my nursery school. So my first son was 18 months when I started my nursery school. My daughter was born in the Easter holidays. She arrived 19 days late, so she didn't interrupt my running of my nursery school. She arrived in the Easter holidays. I was one of those people who bloomed in pregnancy and bounced back very quickly. We're all different. I don't know why that happened, and some people it doesn't, but I was very lucky. I bounced back. So she was born in the Easter holidays. It was Good Friday she was born. I met her daddy on a Good Friday, and then she was born on a Good Friday. So, we do these things in our family. It just happens the dates fall. And so that was Good Friday, and I was back in the nursery school at the end of the Easter holidays 2 weeks later. I was only working in the mornings, but I bloomed and I bounced back. My only difficulty in pregnancy was that none of my babies wanted to come on time. So my first baby was 10 days late. My second baby was 19 days late, which they never let you do these days. And it was when I was at due date. I was already a week over or whatever. I was already overdue. And I went for another checkup, and the doctor sent me away, and I burst into tears because she was a 10-pound-3 baby. It was waddling, just a waddle. I couldn't move very well because she was so big. And so I burst into tears at the appointment, and the doctor had to go out and talk to my husband, and because my husband hadn't come in with me, to say why I was in tears. And so when we got to the next appointment, so they said, go away and come back another week's time. I was still around another week's time. And so they took me in. I had to be induced. That's right, with her. So when I had my my first son was born on the 24th of the month. My second child was born on the 24th. So I really wanted my third child on the 24th as well. I thought that'd be quite nice. And if he'd been on the 24th of the month he was born in, he would have been born in half term. But because I went late with my second one, so late, they wouldn't let me go any longer. So he was born on the 15th. They had me in the date after he was due. So he's not the 24th of the month. But it didn't matter. My first one was born on my sister's birthday. So my mum gave me a gold star because I had my first child on her first child's birthday. So child and grandchild both born on the same day. So it was, I got the gold star then, and then I lost lots of stars because my mum and we came to blows on a few occasions. I mean, she was loving, but she was quite challenging too. Tracy's saying, friend of hers got told off when she was in supermarket shopping. Little boy ran to her crying as he'd lost his mummy. My friend took him to customer service desk, and because his nose was running, she gave him a tissue and wiped his nose. And the lady from the shop gave her a right telling off. Well, I don't know, what your friend's like, but I'll tell you, if she'd have given me a telling off, I would have given her a right telling off back again. Can you imagine it? Stand off at the customer service desk, because what was she supposed to do? Let that child's nose drip all over? That's not good for the child either, is it? Some of these people, what do they? Excuse me, I'm going to have a drink. I'm talking too much. What's new there then? Never been not been an issue for years. So rudery I don't like, as you might be able to tell. So anyway, the rest of the week wasn't bad. So I wasn't home I wasn't at my daughter's for very long before I came away again. So I went back to hers on Monday and I left on Friday. So that was a bit of a short session. But now I'm home for more than a week, because I would normally have gone back Thursday or Friday this week. So probably either Thursday or Friday. So I weigh in. If I'm here, I weigh in on a Thursday for Slimming World. If I'm at her place, I weigh in on a Friday morning. The week before last, my weight went up, but you're heavier in the evening than in the morning. So if I'd been weighing in on the Friday morning, I probably would have maintained my weight that week. But it looked like I'd put weight on, and I knew what it was, so it doesn't faze me. I've lost 3.5 stone anyway. So, but so the next week when I weighed in, so last week when I weighed in, 5 pounds came off. But that's because I'd gone from evening weigh-in to morning weigh-in, and I'd lost some. So have I got some nice plans for the week you're home? Well, I've got to do some crafting for the wedding. I'm getting my glasses. The reason I came home this week is because I've got new glasses I've got to collect, and so that's why I've built things around this week. Somebody wants to catch up with me this week, and so any of you lovely people on the island, if you want to do a bit of a catch up this week, there is probably some maneuverability, as long as I get the craft bits done for the wedding in the next 2 days, because although I'm going to the wedding the week after, so it's not this week, it's the end of the next week. We've got about 2 weeks till the wedding, and I want to post the stuff because I want them to have it and know it's there. I mean, worst case scenario, I could take the stuff with me, but I work well under pressure. When I've got a deadline, I work well to a deadline. But I know that I will achieve, but I don't want to faze the bride. So I'm going to try and get the stuff done and off, and then hope it doesn't get lost in the post. There is always that, of course, but that would be another shenanigans, wouldn't it? I'd have to make them all over again if they did. So those are the things I'm going to do. So tomorrow is pretty much an at-home day, doing the paper crafting and getting a couple of designs done. I've got to make some table decorations. I've got to make 11. Once I've got the first one done, the others will be dead easy to do. They're not difficult things to do, any of them. Once I've done the first ones, and I will show you afterwards, you'll see pictures of them after the wedding. But once I've got the first one, I've got 2 different designs of something I'm making, and I'm going to make one of each and show the bride, do a video call and show her, and then if she whichever one she chooses, then they will follow very quickly. And I was doing something fancy on a scanning machine, going to do it on a scanning machine, and then I hadn't yet got the mat and the blade for the scanning machine that I've got. I had to get those, and then of course I wasn't going to be here, so I didn't know where to have them sent. I thought, well, if I have them sent to my daughters, I'm going to be here and that'll be there. In the end, I went on YouTube tutorials and I found what I wanted without having to use any fancy machines and dies. It was just cutting and scoring. That's what I needed to do. It was so. Oh no, one of the designs, I've actually got some shapes that I put through my die cutter to make that, and the other one is without any of that, just paper and card and scissors and glue and a scoreboard. Hello Astrid, nice to see you in. Long time no see. So yes, I will be doing crafting, Tracy, and I will be doing knitting. Today I knitted on the bus going over to Freshwater. I'm making the hats, the smoothie hats, and I need to talk to you about that because I found a way that we can increase the value of these hats. Steve loved the post on Facebook you put of the lady who knitted other knitting ladies. Sorry, you loved the post on Facebook you put of the lady who knitted other knitting ladies sitting next to her. Oh, do you mean she was that the one where my doctor said I needed to make more friends, so I did. Was that one where the person actually knitted the friends? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there we are. That's right. That was a post that I saw. It made me laugh. Those sort of things really make me laugh, which is why I share them with you. Yes, it was a post that said the doctor had told me to make more friends. So there she was knitting, and she knitted some big people. I did. Musical theatre concert tonight was fun and entertaining, says Andrew. There we go. So that's it. Steve, I think you and I totally have the same sense of humour. So there we go. I've forgotten what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh, so crafting. I'm going to have a thoroughly nice week. Because I'm here for quite a long time, I might venture out again. So there are one or two people I'm trying to catch up with that I want to not going to talk too much about it, but one of the hobby horses that I have, if you're a regular viewer, you'll know what I'm talking about, and if you're not quite sure, I can tell you. But not here necessarily now. But something I have to do, and I will tell you all in due course. But what was I going to say? Oh, so yes. So earlier in the week, I had a wonderful conversation with Gordy. Gordy works at Arreton Barnes. Gordy of Gordy's Wood, and I would quite like to go to Arreton Barnes this week. I've got to work out what buses go there because I'm not quite sure which bus goes past. But buses do go past Arreton Barnes. Arreton Barnes, for those of you who don't know the island, is a wonderful. Well, it's an area that's got lots of little shops. Yes, Tracy, that would be wonderful. Tracy's going to give me a message in the week and maybe meet for a cuppa. Absolutely. Oh, the number 8 goes there. Thank you, Susan. There we are. You see, I have my people with information for me. The number 8. Oh, the number 8's only run 1 an hour, so I would have to time that in well. So yes, Tracy, do let's meet up. And so I don't mind coming down to see you in East Cowes. That would be quite. I haven't been to East Cowes for a long time. There's somebody else I want to catch up with in East Cowes, so maybe I could see you and see the other person if they were free. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. Let's give it a whirl, Tracy. So I've forgotten. So I have to definitely have to collect my glasses. I must not forget. But I can't remember. Can't remember what time the appointment is, and they didn't send me something as a reminder. I've got to ring tomorrow to find out when my appointment is because A, I need to know when I'm going, and B, somebody else wants to meet me in Ryde. That, she said, could I meet you in Ryde? And I said, well, I'm down there getting my glasses. Let's do it then. But I can't remember what the time was. So tomorrow on my list, maybe somebody will send me a message tomorrow and say, did you find out the time of your optician's appointment? So if you could be my aide memoir, that would be amazing. And now probably about 12 of you will message me, but that's fine. I'd rather have 12 message me and then none. You can get the 8 from Ride, but would probably take forever. Yes, it might. So would it be better? What way would be better to go, Susan? I mean, I don't mind. I was just looking at that. Number 8 leaves Ride at 20 to the hour. Okay. But oh, that's right. So I was telling you about lovely Araton Barnes. So I've seen this chap, these lovely things this chap makes. So he's business is called Gordy's Wood, and he is Gordy. So I don't know whether his name is Gordon or what. I haven't met him yet. I want to go and see him. But I was very intrigued because and so I suppose I will tell the conversation. I was hoping that he would have had his meeting with Age UK Isle of Wight before my broadcast tonight. But I'll tell you what's happening and then see how this one will pan out. Because all you lovely knitters who knit smoothie hats, this might be of interest to you. So Gordy makes snowmen, and I thought that he makes them out of wooden snowmen, and I thought they were quite big, but I think they must be quite small because these hats fit on them. The smoothie hats, I saw them with hats on, and I thought they must be bigger hats than this, and it's not always easy to tell, is it, in a photograph or a picture on Facebook. So I'd seen that he'd made these lovely snowmen, and then I'd seen the little hats on them. And he was selling them. It's about an hour and 20-minute journey. That's fine. I don't mind that. Hang on. Let's just go. The closed toilet video you shared was disgusting. Not fair on people who need toilet for dip. No, that's right, Andrew. Yes, I know that you've dipped in and dipped out of the broadcast. So we did have quite a lot of discussion around the toilet issue. Not that I want to make this a toilet talk video, live stream, but sometimes we have to discuss these issues, as you know. The number 8 leaves Newport at 20 to the hour, and that's only a 20-minute journey. So would it be quicker, Tracy, would it be quicker? It would be quicker for me to get the bus to Newport and then to get the number 8, wouldn't it? There's one or two things I want to do in Newport, so I could perhaps do that as a combined journey. I've got to make sure I know when Gordy is going to be there. So anyway, I was what I'd seen that Gordy had made these lovely snowmen in the past, and then suddenly that the snowmen had hats on. Well, then I saw the other day that he was wanting a balmy army of people. He's got a balmy army of ladies who make little smoothie hats for the snowmen. And so I was intrigued to see, and then I was even more intrigued to see that the value of these, thank you, Tracy, it was quicker from Newport, I'll do that. The value of these is greater going via Gordy than it is. So these are done for the Innocent Smoothie Big Knit. Now, those of you who've been watching me a long time, some of you have already given me hats that are going to Age UK. So we make these hats, we give them to Age UK Isle of Wight. And as long as Age UK Isle of Wight have collected in total 12,500 hats, and they're well on target for that, then they get all the money to use on the Isle of Wight, for the elderly people here. Innocent Smoothie give 30p for each of these hats. Right, but the Balmy Army lady, so what happened? Somebody bought one of the snowmen and she knitted one of these and put it on. She obviously showed Gordy and he loved it. And she ended up with her and other people who were recruited into the Balmy Army. They knitted 4,000 of these little hats to go on the snowmen. Well, what Gordy does, what he's done, and actually it's expanded his business. He was making these snowmen and selling them from September through to Christmas. But now the whole thing's escalated and he is selling snowmen the whole year round. And what he's able to do is make £1 for each hat. And we can, if we are the knitters, we can nominate which charity it goes to. Can you see where I'm going with this one? So I could say to Gordy, right, you know, we've got 200 hats here we've knitted. So we want your pounder hat to go to Age UK. Gordy is having he's having a meeting. My issue was I don't want to upset Age UK, but I want them to have the maximum money they can have. So I know that they personally need 12,500. So we have to be on. Are those the little snowmen? How the little snowmen? So we have to. What I have to do is make sure that we get enough hats in to guarantee that Age UK have their 12,500, so they can keep all that money that all the knitters for Age UK have done on the island. So that's a must, and we must make sure that happens. But then, if the total was bigger than that, I would like then, you know, and I mean, those of you who've already given me hats, you have to agree with, you know, that I'm doing the right thing with the hats you've given me, because that is, you know, that's the deal. We've got to make it, got to get it right for everybody. But can you see, once they've got their 12,500 hats, if we can then yes, so if we could, yes, sorry, I was just nearly muddling myself up. So if we could do that, we could join the Barmy Army for Gordy, and we could get £1 a hat. So he would send it to whichever charity we wanted. So we could then say, right, well, we want this to go to Age UK. So he would then make the donations to Age UK rather than us give the hats. He would make the donations at £1 a time. And he's still able to do that several years in. He said the margins are getting tighter, but he is obviously a guy who likes doing lots for charity. So yes, so Andrew's saying, for every so many hats you collect for Age UK, could you then make a few for Gordy? Yes. Yeah, well, we certainly can work it out. Now, I have hats here that some people have already given me. Patricia's given me some. Titch Nana Tig has given me. That's another Tracy. She's sent some, and those will go to Age UK. We'll put those in and make sure they're part of that 12,500. And anybody else who sends me them, I will do. That could mean that the ones I've knitted and my daughter have knitted, if we've already got the 12,500. I could put them this way and say, right, I want these that we've knitted originally for Age UK to go to you, and you just put all the pounds instead of the 30p. Wouldn't I like to expand from 30p to £1 for each one? Makes sense, doesn't it? So I'm hoping, well, Gordy was going to have a meeting and chat to them about it on Friday, but he's having the meeting tomorrow because that didn't work. So I'm hoping that they're going to be fine with that, because it would make sense for them to get more money, wouldn't it? You know, because they're a charity and they're trying to raise as much money. So I hope they will be all right with that. I'm not going to do anything that anybody's not okay with. So, but also, I would then, you know, I want to do a lot for Age UK anyway, but I would like to support some of the other charities. And he will do it for any of our Isle of Wight charities. He said he would even do it for other charities on the mainland, but obviously he's based on the Isle of Wight. And we have so many charities here that are all struggling. So I had this idea in my head. So once we've dealt with Age UK and whatever we're doing there, and obviously we've got a deadline for that. So they've all got to be in by the end of June. So possibly later in the year, I would knit a lot of yellow hats. And then I would put, you know, because he doesn't mind what they are for the snowmen. It is these little hats. It's not the fancy ones that look like a pencil or a bee or other ones. It is the little hats, bobble hat type hats that he wants. And, you know, all sorts of different patterns or whatever. I had in my head, and I don't know what you think of this, let me know. I thought if I did a lot of yellow hats or ones with lots of yellow pattern, the hospice has yellow as a colour. They have Go Yellow Day. So any of the hats that I give to him that are yellow, I could say, can you put that money towards our hospice? I could make some green and yellow ones. and I could say maybe make 100 of those and say, can you put that money to our air ambulance, because our air ambulances are green and yellow. So that would make sense. I could do some of the, some of the lifeboats, because of course we are an island and we depend on our lifeboats, and some of them are independent lifeboat companies. They're not all part of the national thing. I could do some of those, in those sort of colours, and say, right, all of those, I want this £100 to go to the lifeboats. And I can see it's an amazing, I mean, I absolutely love the knitting. I love, fundraising. Marry the two, and I think we're on a winner, don't you? I mean, daffodil hats for one of your charities on the island. I've got to check with Gordy, because I think he wants bobble hats because they're going on the snowmen. And what this has done is absolutely escalated his making of snowmen. He is now selling snowmen the whole year. He was only selling them from September to Christmas. I think he was selling them through Facebook, but of course all the algorithms have changed, so he's now doing it a different way. I'm not quite sure. I need to get the details. I'll go and meet him and then get all the details. It's going to be a very exciting week this week, with all the new people I'm meeting, and all the things going on in my head. My brain is wired in a very strange way, but it is what it is. And so one of the other things, I know that Paul was in here. I don't know if he's still in the broadcast, but I know that he does things for prostate cancer. He did a run for prostate cancer. I did he had one of my blue wigs that I made when he was doing a marathon, and he was doing the fundraising, and so things like, blue hats for things like prostate cancer and all those sort of things. It makes me very excited when a plan comes together, because it's a community working together. That's what I absolutely love. It's people working together. I've always maintained on the island that we should work with each other. The cafe that I was in today, that I went to see the owner, the Gate in Freshwater Bay, he totally gets it. He's on the same page as me, totally. In that cafe, he's got some things over there from an artist, and he's selling them in his cafe. So, so it's like a shop as well in the cafe. So he's got lots of that lady's things. Then he's got a photographer over here who's got a lot of pictures that he's selling there. And then there were some clothes that were done. That was another island business. And then there was glassware. So not only is he serving the customers some wonderful cakes that are also made locally, they're servicing. I mean, Freshwater Bay is lovely, and when the sun is out like it was today, there were so many people came in the cafe. He was worried he wouldn't have time to talk to me when I went all the way over there. I said, it doesn't matter. I said, I will sit in the cafe and talk to you when you have an opportunity to stop. If you have an opportunity to stop. I like to sit and observe and see what's going on and see the wonderful service. So I know he gave all his customers, and he could teach those passenger assist people a lot. He was polite to everybody who came in. He spoke to everybody. He was sitting talking to me, but then he would need to go, and so he and his wife run the cafe, and it was just so wonderful. I had such a wonderful time. But we were talking about community working together, and it's what it's always been for me. Could the cafe owner allow you to sell some knitted items for charity? Well, Andrew, do you read my thoughts? Were you thinking what I was thinking? I think you were. That's already gone through my head. I didn't discuss it today because we had lots of other things we were discussing about a plan that we're putting in place. But yes, you're quite right. So Tracy's saying the walkers go past that cafe on the day of Walk the White. Oh, thank you, Tracy. That's interesting as well. So I will have those conversations with this guy because it's everybody helping everybody else. And, that's particularly important on the island where, we are an island and we do need to support each other. I mean, it's also true everywhere. You need to be nice. You need to work together. But I remember, when I was running my network group and saying we need to work together, I was chair of Rye Business Association, and I kept saying we need to work with each other. We don't need to see each other as competition. You know, well, I'm not going to talk to you because you might do the same thing in your business a bit as I do in mine. No, it doesn't work like that. If you compliment, I mean, and I did years of networking and years of helping businesses network, and they complement each other, and you know, you learn so much from each other. So I've always sort of done a bit of out of the box thinking too. You're doing that in May for the hospice. Oh, excellent, Tracy. So yes, and you know, that's very good, but I didn't realize that's what I've never done. Walk the White, and I'm certainly not going to do it now because you know, it's not very good for me to go long walks. You know, other things I can do: talk for England I can, but walk for England no. And so you know, these sort of things excite me. Can you tell when you put the fun into fundraising? And there are so many things on the island, and I know with our army of knitters we could be this part of the balmy army for Gordy. So you have to go to bed. No problem, Kat, you go to bed and you have a good sleep. I hope I have a good sleep when I get to bed tonight, because last night I could not sleep. I wanted to sleep. I wanted to stay in bed. I didn't want to get up and poodle around. I stayed in bed and I didn't wake up. A sponsored talkathon for Lynn. You'd all have too much to pay because I talk for England. One or two people have said, oh, you know, they've issued me backhanded compliments in that, you know, I do talk a lot. But, you know, if I didn't talk a lot of the things that have happened around me wouldn't have happened. So I don't mind if you all, you know, you say I talk too much. And yes, how about maybe you could live stream on the day as everyone walks past where you were stood. What a brilliant idea, Tracy. What is the date of Walk the White? I have a feeling it's going to clash with my granddaughter's twins' 18th birthday, because it's around the 18th of May, isn't it? That sort of weekend, sometime then, around then. Because we have, I don't know what days of the week each thing is, but we have just had an invite to celebrate the twins' 18th. So it's going to be my 75th, the twins' 18th, my son's 50th this year, my son's wedding. Oh my goodness, you know, what a lot of celebrations. Isn't that good? So yes, but oh, if it's the 11th of May, that's brilliant, because I expect the family celebration will be the following week. I will check with my daughter, but if not, I will try and be here for the 11th of May, because that would work so well, wouldn't it? Excellent, you know. Let's give that a try, because I would love to watch Walk the White. I was once involved in it. I was a Rotarian, and I was on one of the stops where they stop for drinks or something like that. Lots of things to make this year, Lynn. Absolutely. And you know what? I can't pop my clogs anytime soon. I've got far too many things to do, and I've got so much wool in the other room. I have got, so you see, I've got all my Calax units here. In the other room, I've got Calax units all across a wall like that size wall. The other, so in the room on the wall further over, I got Calax units all there, and I've got Calax units all down there, and they are almost all full of wool. These ones I've got open. The ones in my lounge, I have got the cubes that you put in. I've got cubes at the bottom ones here, but you can't see those. But I've got cubes that you put in, so it's all tidy. If I just put it on the, when we first did it, and the new balls of wool were put in, it looked like a wool shop. Tracy, it's your 50th this year too. Oh, excellent. When's your birthday? When is your birthday, Tracy? We have to make sure we mark that one. Definitely make sure we mark that one. And anybody else's birthday, we want to celebrate. Lots of you lovely people. So I'm celebrating my 75th. Although my birthday is in September, I'm having a cheeky celebration in April, because I think some of you will know this story. Some years, no, was it last year? Yes, last year. No, not, when was it? Yes, it was last year. My family took me to Butlins. Was it last year I went to Butlins? Can you tell me, folks? Halloween. Oh, your birthday. Is your birthday on Halloween, Tracy? I won't forget it, because my grandson's birthday is on Halloween as well. That's right. Oh, yes. I should have remembered that, shouldn't I? Just shared your disappointment of the locked door for a wedding. Oh, right. Ian's just been watching my locked toilet door video. Steve's is in June. Is it, Steve, how old are you going to be? Oh, yours is 60th, isn't it? Oh, my goodness. I need somebody to write these down and message me with all these birthdays, because I haven't got a pen at my desk here. How mad is that? I've got no light on either, so I need somebody to be a scribe and write all these birthdays down and send them to me if you can. So Andrew said it sure did look like a wool shop when I used to see it. That's right. So 60th next year, 59 this year, Steve. Okay. And when Andrew was 32 years ago, he went to Blackpool in May for a long weekend with a few friends. Your birthday was in August. You're going to be 32 this year. Graham saying, hello, love. Hope you're doing. Hope you're well. Love seeing you post. My post. Your birthday is in 11 days' time. Okay, Graham. Well, you need to join our live stream next Sunday, and then we will sing to you, because that's what we do. Or that's what I do. And everybody else sits at home and they're supposed to sing. They put emojis in. I don't know if they do sing, but I'm sure they do. So anyway, back to the Kallax units in the other room with all my wool. So I have that many units of wool and some. And it could easily look like a wool shop. What happens, because I do so much for charity, and because I'm publicly, people know that when somebody has a member of their family who was a knitter and maybe passes through to the next world, people will say to me, Lynn, would you like this wool? Would you like these needles? And I take it, because I do. Did you manage to get a new birthday hat? No, I think I need to make a new birthday hat, Andrew. I'll have to make one with all my crafting. Shall I do that? Because the old birthday hat is actually, it's a bit shabby now anyway. So I'll make a new birthday hat. Steve saying he used to go to Pontins back in the 70s and remember the noddy train for the kids, which was just a decorated tractor. Excellent. Remind me Dotto train in a minute, and remind me of shopping with my grandchildren, because I'm happy to keep chatting. I haven't got to get up early tomorrow. Some of you might have to leave us, but some of you might like to stay in chat. You've just Googled Ayrton Barnes. It looks amazing. Ah, yes, absolutely, Hazel. It is amazing. I never finished telling you what it was like. It's got lots of little shops. So some of them are quite small. And I know Gordy used to have the smallest shop on the Isle of Wight. And I don't know if he was originally at Ayrton Barnes, but he's in Ayrton Barnes now. So I never saw his first shop, but it really was tiny. He got so much in it, and now he does so much stuff. I didn't realize all the lovely wooden stuff that he does. So when I go to Ayrton Barnes, I will live stream it for you. Did you know something going on this month? Knit every day in March for Alzheimer's. Yes, I did know that. Sometimes, Tracy, I just have to stop because I can't keep up with it all, but I did know it was knit every day in March for Alzheimer's, but I don't know whether that was a national. I mean, I've got all the smoothie hats, I've got the cardigan and other things to do. I do try to do as many as I can, obviously. I'm not sure, is that for a national charity or is it for local charity? Because I wouldn't mind doing a bit of knitting in March and then sending the stuff via Gordy to do for Alzheimer's on the Isle of Wight. So that's a possibility, but it is March already. We're on the 2nd of March, so I would have to, think about that one quickly. I could do some of March. Sometimes there's not enough hours in my day. And I think if I don't go to sleep tonight, then I'll sit up and knit instead, because lying in bed trying to go to sleep is so frustrating. I always used to go to bed, fall asleep the minute my head hit the pillow, and 8 hours sleep, then wake up. Very different ball game now. I have to get up in the night, as many of us do. Too much information. We're not going on that conversation again. Funny how it keeps cropping up, isn't it? So anyway, yes, Arrowton Barnes, Hazel, is a wonderful place, and I think there's pirate things there, and there's foodie places and lots of craft places. So I haven't been there for a long time. I will go this week if I can, as long as I can link up with Gordy. I will go there this week, and I will live stream from there. He says Steve. So yes. Oh, so I was gonna what did I just tell you to remind me? Oh, it's Alzheimer's Research UK. So it's for the main Alzheimer's charity, but it doesn't stop me doing something for Alzheimer's charity on the island. We could do that as well. I'm sure I could do some bits and pieces for that, or get other people to do for that. You know, the Barmy Army, we could all join, you know, get more people in the Barmy Army doing the knitting. So that's it, you know, and more men are taking up knitting, did you know? So those of you, those men folk out there, don't think it's just for women. I have one of my son's friends has taken up knitting. He was having some mental health issues, and he's taken up knitting. It's amazing what good it will do for people who have mental health issues. I think they should just prescribe it on the national health. They should give you balls of wool and knitting needles on the national health, because it would save so much anguish. I just get lost in my knitting. It's certainly a live stream with all this conversation on Waterworth. Stream. Oh yes, a live stream. Well, it will be a stream. It certainly would be a stream if they don't let me in that toilet. It will be a stream in a place it shouldn't be. Dotto train. That's right. Yes, thank you, Tracy. Tracy's brought me back. So the other day, I was, I had a wonderful evening the other evening. Well, it was after school. My daughter and I picked the girls up from school. She's got 3 girls. She's got twins, and she's got a younger girl, a teenage girl, and then she's got a son. And so we are still trying to sort out the wedding clothes for some of the children. And one of them, she's got her address. Another one ordered something on the internet, and it came, and it was horrible. And the other one's got something coming from the internet. So we hope that arrives shortly, because we need to make an emergency if it's not any good. So the younger of the girls, obviously we needed to get something for her. And then the other girls needed other bits and pieces as well. Not necessarily for the wedding. Oh, yes, bags and shoes and things. So we went shopping, and we went shopping to an outlet centre. And oh, we were in our element. Oh, well done. Patricia's knitted 4 smoothie hats while she's been listening to me. And that's brilliant, Patricia. I don't knit while I'm doing this, because I get so confused when I'm trying to keep on track, that if I was knitting as well, I can knit on the bus, I can knit other places, but I don't knit while I'm doing this. I will knit some before I go to bed too. Steve's been drawing again, not knitting while he's been chatting, and that's fine. It doesn't matter as long as you've got something that occupies you. But you know that it's wonderful to see more men doing knitting, because people used to think it was only a women's craft, and it's certainly not. There's some men. Well, look at it. What's the swimmer who knits? Tom Daly. He's done miracles for knitting, you know, for encouraging men to knit, hasn't he? Patricia, I'll talk to you too about, because you've given me smoothie hats, and so those smoothie hats, we need to make sure they go in to make sure we've got the 12,500 for Age UK. I'll talk to you separately about that and see where you want to go. Hi, Louise. Nice to see you in too, coming in from Facebook there. So, Dotto train, yes. So, what's that got to do with shopping and clothes? Well, on the Isle of Wight, we used to have a Dotto train, and it was a train that went up and down along. We have a very long esplanade in Ryde, and we had a Dotto train, and you could get on it at one end of the esplanade, and it would take you right up, and then you could come back the other way. That was amazing. We also had something else at one time. We had a bicycle with lots of seats and things. I've forgotten what the borrow bike, or wasn't it? And we had that after the Dotto train wasn't here. For some reason, in their wisdom, the Isle of Wight Council sold our Dotto train. Wow, what a stupid thing to do. Something that's attractive, then they got rid of it. And Tracy, I don't know if you know more of the history than that, but I don't. Anyway, I was so reminded of the Dotto train when I was in the outlet centre the other day, because round the outlet centre, this train kept coming. I kept having to get out of the way of the train. It was giving people rides round the outlet centre. It was amazing, and it's so. I've got some video footage I haven't put up yet. I've taken so much video footage, so many photographs this week. I just haven't got the hours in the day to get everything done. And so, it's just, if I wasn't wasting so much time on the things that I don't need to waste time on, then I would have more time to do the things I need to do. There was a guy online who knitted using chunky wool with very large needles, making a large rug or blanket. Oh, yeah, Andrew, that's great. I haven't seen that. Used to go along Ryde Seafront and stop at Packpool Park. Tracy's saying that was the Dotto train, and it was wonderful, and people loved it. But they decided to sell it. Do you know what? If we still had it, what an attraction that would be. I expect they sold it because they said the upkeep probably was too much. No, they just need to find a way to do these things. Our council is dreadful, like so many of the councils are. They get rid of all sorts of things. After all, not the current councillors, but our council got rid of our tourist board. Don't even get me started on that one, because yes, let's save money by closing our tourist board. Oh dear, we're a tourist island and we've got no visitors coming. I know what, let's have a corrupt Visit Isle of Wight instead, and a bid, and let's rip off all our businesses. That was praised like that. That was a long story praised like that. That's what happens on the island. So please don't get me started on that one. So Tracy's put a link up, but I can't actually see. I won't know what that is. Is that a photo of the Dotto train? I would think that's probably what you're showing me, Tracy. If you could put it into my, give me put it in my messenger, I can share it, or put it into me to messenger, and also put it into the Go Live Granny group, and I can put it there. Hazel's saying well done, Patricia. She's coming in from on YouTube saying well done, Patricia, because you're doing your knitting. And it was so lovely that you found your mojo, Patricia, because Patricia lost her knitting mojo for a while, and that's understandable because life happens, but she's got it back again. And I've got her bag of hats down here, lovely bright colours she's got there. Arbroath in Scotland has a Dotto train that went around the town and even had special bus stops and timetables. Sadly, it was sold last year. Yes, why do they do these things? Why don't they just do some fundraising and make sure that these are attractions? Our Dotto train is somewhere. I don't know if it went to Wales. I can't remember. I think I'm wanting to say Wales, but I don't know if it went to Wales. I don't know where it is, but we need it back. So, Tracy's the link she's just dropped in it is for Gordy at Arreton Barnes and the amazing things he makes. And Hazel's just saying she's got her 80th next year. Oh, so when's your birthday, Hazel? You need to all drop your birthdays into my messenger box, and then I need to put a diary so I would know when everybody's birthdays were, and then not lose the diary. You probably know me too well. But it's good to mark all these lovely occasions coming up. So yes, so my so I was talking about my cheeky birthday. So yes, so no, let's go back to the Dotto train. So I was keeping out of the way of the Dotto train, but also having the most wonderful time. The last time, I've been shopping with my daughter, but when I've been doing that, my grandchildren have been in school. The last time I shopped with my granddaughters like this, my daughter and my granddaughters, was many years ago for my nephew's wedding. So it was a family wedding, and the girls were quite small. Now, of course,
they're in their teens, they're looking at the makeup and the jewelry and all these wonderful things, and they've got their own personalities. So I've got one girl who likes to style that way, and they're just so lovely to watch them. But it was so nice to be at the shops with them and treat them a little bit. Not that I've got a lot to treat them with, but I did treat them a little bit. But also, my granddaughter bought. Do you like my new? This is a nice one of those gilets. And this I bought in the outlet centre the other day, and it was reduced from £41 down to £16.49. But because one of my granddaughters has got a card, a student, or the granddaughter that was with me at the time, she got a student card. She got some more off it for me, and something else I bought in there as well. So I was thrilled to bits that this is lovely. It gives me another different look, because I was taught years ago capsule wardrobe is good. You don't need loads of clothes, but you need a few different items, and then you can mix and match them all so that it looks good. Tracy's just sent me a picture of the Dotto train. Thank you. I will share that out in the Go Live Granny community and on my page. Andrew's saying, Arbroath even have a miniature railway down the seafront. The council moved the play park next to it, and then the mini railway had less customers, so had to close as losing money. Oh dear, brain dead. Why don't they think these things? Why don't they think out of the box? It was very popular and over 30 years old. That's a good point. Yes, and it's nice and snug and warm. I very nearly dropped. I did actually drop some food on it. Oh no, I think was it coffee, a little splash of coffee, but I quickly, the first day I wore it, I quickly managed to, I jumped up fast and got a wet cloth on it, and I got the coffee out, so that was good. So anyway, so we ended up we did get a dress for the granddaughter whose one had come that wasn't any nice. It was a little bit more on the expensive side than maybe mummy wanted to pay, but then I'd given two of the girls some money, not vast fortune, I'm saying, but I'm able to do a little bit of treats now and again, and I'd given the two girls some money. So I said, well, I'll put a bit towards it. I said, oh, and then you've got a birthday in March, haven't you? So I'll put a bit more towards it. So it became much more an affordable thing. And also, it cut out a load of stress by buying this dress that we wouldn't normally have bought because maybe... And also, the lady in the shop obviously wanted to give us a sale. Or she said, the sale starts tomorrow. I could hold it for you. Or I could... She said, I could hold it if you want to go away and think about it. But she... Obviously, that we were then talking about other shops. And she must have heard us. And she obviously wanted to get a sale. So she did the sensible thing. She said, our sale is starting tomorrow, but if you want to buy that dress today, I will honour the sale offer. So that brought it down, some more. So, and it was just so nice being with these, the girls went off and some of them two of them went that way, and one of them was with me and sorting some shoes out. Then my daughter found some boots she liked, and it was just so nice. It was a girly, I'm just not used to it, and it was just so nice to be with them and do all that shopping. And fortunately, my grandson wasn't with us. I say that because he would have got bored, and then everybody would have been, it wouldn't have been the same nice situation. He's lovely, but he didn't want to go girly shopping. But on the night that we went girly shopping, he does football, and his dad is the football coach. So daddy and son went off there, and we went over here, and I had a wonderful time. And you might have seen pictures of me in the outlet centre with a whole pile of boxes on Navy Nora, because this one. So two of the girls are working. They have jobs, so they've got money to spend themselves as well. So we got boxes of boots and shoes and dresses and all these things between us. And I have to say that my own purchases were bargains, absolute bargains. Very nice body warmer, Lynn. Definitely going to keep you. And it did. You know, and it zips up right round me because I'm not, you know, because I'm a bit trimmer than I used to be. So I can get into the easier sizes now, the ones that are more available. And so I was happy with that. Let's have a look. Oh, Tracy's saying that the Dotto train used to go along Shanklin seafront as well. Or the train did, or you did. I can't. I think you mean the train, do you, Tracy? Steve is saying, I hate that when that happens. I'm always careful with my clothes when I'm making my turmeric drink of an evening. Yes, because turmeric will stain. Absolutely. I have bought myself a bib for having at home so I don't do that sort of thing. I mean, after I got that little splash of coffee, it was zipped up. So I then did this because I had a darker thing on underneath, and I thought if I spill any more, it won't be so bad. But I actually have got a bib, you know, one of those big adult bibs. But I thought that would do the trick and it wouldn't get anything on my clothes. But it's got a very big neckline. So it, you know, I do it up here, but I need to pull it right up here. It's not working very well like it's supposed to, but you know, it is the nature of what it is. Hang on, let's have a look. Tracy's saying once a huge hit for locals. This is the Dotto train she's talking about, but especially holiday makers on the island. The Dotto trains. Oh, so were there separate Dotto trains in each of the areas? I didn't know if it was sometimes here. No, I suppose they were all separate. The Dotto trains were axed from Shanklin, Sandown and Ryde in 2011. I know it's been a long time. I know it's been a very long time. Andrew's saying, wow, that's so nice of that staff member to honour the sale price one day early. That would hardly never happen in Scotland. Yeah, but you know, you've got to this day and age, you've got to, you know, sort of really work with the customers as much as you can because there's so much competition, and you know we've only got so much money to spend. So you know that, I mean, as I say, it wasn't the cheapest shop. It's not a shop. It's not something we normally would have done. We were just over 2 weeks away from the wedding, and you know, time is getting short because the girls are in school most of the time. Then the particular one who was having this dress, she's going on a school trip later this week, and she was away for the weekend. So the times when shopping could get done were getting like this, you know. So we don't want to do it the day before the wedding. we got to travel, so we don't want to be doing that anyway. So we're nearly sorted. I don't think there's much more to do on that one. So it was a very sensible idea, saying, well, I'll honor the price. I think it was a 20% discount happening the next day on items, so she took the 20% off. And I say it wasn't the cheapest garment, you know. As I say, we're not used to, you know, spending a lot on things generally, but this was just a little bit. This was a bit more than we normally would do, but it solved a crisis. I need to have a drink. Hang on. Ooh, I can't have a drink because my hat's hitting the cup. I'm getting very dry now. Tracy's saying there were talks to bring back the Dotto train to Ryde in 2022. I knew that, but I don't know what happened and why they gave up on it. You know, what a stupid idea. We had them. There was. Do you remember the Borrow Bike, Tracy? I think it was called the Borrow Bike, and it was like lots of people pedalled on it. It was quite a big vehicle, and they pedalled up and down the esplanade, and people were encouraged to have like meetings on this bike. So I went on it, but I sat in the back because pedaling wasn't something that I could do. So there was a little area where I could sit in the back with Navy Nora. Or did I have Navy Nora then, or did I have Lilac Deal then? Whichever my trolley was. And most of the people, they sat sideways on and they pedalled. I think I can't remember how it actually was, but it would look like a big beach hut on wheels, and it was wonderful. And people would wave, and it was just so exciting. It was so nice, and it was an independent guy who'd sort of got this business together and did this, and he did it for a while, and then the council axed it. But then, you know, they're rubbish. Our Isle of Wight Council is rubbish, you know, especially and actually today when I had that issue with the toilet door, I was blaming the Isle of Wight Council because that's who I thought it was. And then somebody said, "Oh, I think it's the Newport and Carisbrooke Community, Newport and Carisbrooke Parish Council." And when I went back, that's what it said on the door. But actually, I messaged Vix Lothian, who stood as Green candidate for the island, but wasn't elected. But I think she's a local councillor as well. I'm not sure whether she still is, but she certainly was. I know she's very involved anyway. And she said, no, it is the Isle of Wight Council. So, you know, well, I just don't know what qualifications you need to be a decision maker on the island. You know, some of the decisions are made by only 11 members of the council. There are 39 council members, but the cabinet is made up of 11 of them, and it was 11 of them who decided on the white bid, letting the white bid come in and, you know, put the unfair tax on all our tourism businesses, our hospitality businesses. You know, 11 people, that's not okay, you know. So right, love bargains so much, always check for bargains. This is Andrew. Reduced whoopsies in supermarkets also, and sometimes great big deals. A bib's a great idea, says Steve. He's off to bed now. Night night. Yes, I think I need to wrap up soon. We've been 2.5 hours here. My throat is getting very dry. It's telling me I need to go in a minute. So you're off to bed. Night, Steve. Thanks for joining us. Steve is leaving the house. Bye. Andrew's saying the Glasgow airport to axe the tourist information centre a few years ago. What a silly idea. It was well used and definitely needed for tourists who needed help with information, travel info, etc. It was so silly. Actually, exactly like our tourist board. We have a tourist board, and that's where. And in Ryde, people, if they're coming for day trips or they're coming without a car, you can come across from Portsmouth and Southsea just to Ryde, or from Portsmouth Harbour to Ryde. So Portsmouth and Southsea comes on the hover to the hover port, and Portsmouth Harbour, Portsmouth Harbour, you come on the fast cat that comes in at the end of Ryde Pier. So they're very near each other. And the ideal thing was you came there, and as soon as you came across the road, there was the tourist board. Made perfect sense. But why have something that makes perfect sense? Why not destroy it? And is it any wonder too that now we've got an organisation who is taking money off our local businesses? The council is also paying bid money to them, so some of our council money is going to the bid, and then they're not marketing the island very well, and we have a 26% less tourists. So something's not working, is it? Barrow Beachback. Barrow Beachback. Was it Barrow Beachback? I remember being very instrumental in getting people. So what people did, I think initially they wanted people to go on it without paying to go on it, to give it a lot of publicity. And because I ran a network group, I was able to supply a lot of people who would come and have a ride. And sometimes we'd sing from there, or they'd play music from it, or all sorts of different things. And it was a great attraction. And so the guy, he took it somewhere else. You know, okay, the Isle of Wight don't want it. I think he took it somewhere else. I don't know if it's still going, but this was some years ago. Casey, you'll probably be able to spot when it was. I can't remember how many years ago. But it was a great attraction. So, you know, oh, it's a great attraction. Right, let's get rid of it. I have to tell you, though, Ryde Town Council is so much better than the Isle of Wight Council. They are doing some, you know, making quite a lot of progress. And they were very instrumental in not letting Visit Isle of Wight put a town bid in. Because Isle of, you know, the Visit Isle of Wight have got this white bid, which is this tax on all our tourism businesses. But then they were trying to introduce it so that retail, when it was first set up, it was supposed to be retail and hospitality businesses. But because the supermarkets were going to say no, they withdrew retail before that happened because it would just be booted out. So it then ended up being only the hospitality businesses. So then these years later, they thought they would try and get it back in by another route, and they they tried to introduce a town bid, but I was on it. I was on it straight away because I knew what they were up to, and I heard the information. So I made sure I was at the at the Ryde Business Association meeting when it was being presented, and I let the councillors know, the town councillors, and whether they knew anyway, but I endorsed the fact that we did not want this. I went to that meeting and made a nuisance of myself. I was very unpopular with the guy from the council who actually was running the meeting, and I was very unpopular with the girl who took over from me as the Ryde Business Association chair. She wasn't helping because she was trying to get a tax introduced on our retail businesses. You know, it's bad enough the hospitality businesses had it, but then she was trying to get it introduced. I went in that meeting and I set my video camera up, and I said, I'm going to video this because there's lots of people not here and they need to know this information. And they didn't stop me. They couldn't stop me. I just went in and I set it up. It was like, you know, a meeting, because it wasn't just for the Ryde Business Association. It was actually more of an open meeting, but not a lot of people there. And what they did, unbelievable. They zoomed somebody in from Yorkshire saying how wonderful these bids were, and I made myself so unpopular with them because I happen to know that there was shenanigans in that area, and that the bid that she was representing was actually being looked at under a microscope because things had gone wrong there. And the council there'd been some issues going on, and I highlighted it. And I thought, why are you bringing them as an example when there's already a lot of issues going on there? And also, I can't remember the other question I asked. I asked something, and it was something. Oh yes, I think the council had given a vote of no confidence in the bid there, and I highlighted that in that meeting, and oh my God, if looks could kill, I would have dropped dead on the spot, because we weren't supposed to share that sort of thing. But yes, sorry, I'm protecting our business people here, you know. And also they wouldn't answer the question. One of the questions I asked is, if people are already paying the hospitality, the hospitality bid, so the cafes, the hotels, any venues, those sort of things were all paying the bid. So supposing we had a cafe in the high street that was already paying the bid, and then you introduce a town bid, are they going to have to pay twice? They wouldn't answer the question. They wouldn't answer the question, but the Ryde Town Council, obviously I was ill in between this, and then I did say something to one of the councillors one day, and I said, oh, they didn't get that bid through, the town bid, did they? I said, what happened? They said, well, we told them we didn't want it. Yes, absolutely. Right, so Andrew's saying Blackpool Council do things right and have TV adverts and radio adverts across Scotland and promote holidays. Other places should do this too. if the Isle of Wight Council did the job, Tracy's saying, properly, a lot of the island towns would be able to do so much. Look at the old ice rink. That's been left to fall apart. Absolutely. She's saying Sandown is a main holiday town and it's been left to go derelict. It's dreadful. It's embarrassing. Really embarrassing, Sandown is. You know, it is. And people are poking fun at it and putting it up on YouTube and saying, you know, and it is. Buildings are being left to rot, and you know, and a hotel burnt down, and that's years ago, and it's still in that sort of condition. It's dreadful part of the island. I mean, we have a beautiful island, but it has got some horrible things like derelict buildings, which is not good. So it looks awful when you go through Sandown on the bus at all. That yes, because they are on the bus route. So the derelict buildings doesn't say very much about our beautiful island if that's the first thing holidaymakers see. Exactly, Tracy. Andrew's saying Paisley have a bid zone in the town centre and they apparently are very unpopular and say they do so much for Paisley, lots of empty shops, so they're not doing much. No, and that's what happens with most of these bid companies. And Carmarthen have just thrown theirs out, which was brilliant. But it's not been without a lot of hard work from a few people, you know, just highlighting it, which is why I'm always on the case with Visit Isle of Wight. Now, one of the things in question, and I am going to say this, Jan, who I used to do the Warm Hub with for Isle Access, she has just retired. She set the charity up years ago. She knew that the island was losing a huge amount of business because the information wasn't out there for people with disabilities. So, you know, supposing you're on the mainland and you want a holiday and you looking for, you know, disabled accommodation, that sort of thing, and you punch it in, and I always pick on Cornwall. Cornwall has all the information there on their website. Isle of Wight doesn't have any of it. Where are you going to go for your holiday? And you know, you don't get a prize for guessing because you're going to go where it's easiest. You know, if you've got disability issues, that's bad enough anyway. If it's all on the website saying what's available, you know, this hotel or this place, you know, this cafe can, you know, accommodate wheelchairs or whatever. If it's there, people can choose whether they come here or not. If you make it attractive enough, that's fine. Visit Isle of Wight are not doing that on the website, or they weren't when I last looked, and I'm sure all this time later they suddenly haven't done it. Jan set up the charity and she did audits of hotels and she helped people with accessibility things, and she's done all of that. And she spent years doing it, and she's, you know, she proved that there was so much money being lost to the island because it wasn't available and all that stuff. Yes, Tracy says she may need to go on my hobby horse with me. Absolutely. So whichever hobby horse it is, whether it's about the derelict thing or whether it's about the white bid or whatever it is, come and join me on my hobby horse, Tracy, because I'm not going to get off anytime soon, not until the issues are sorted. And Visit Isle of Wight, I am going to sort it. That's a promise. What was I saying? Oh, yes. So Jan has done all this work. Now, part of the Isle Access has been taken over. So there have people who have taken over the accessible cycling, and there are people who've taken over the accessible swimming that she got set up. There's nobody doing any of the rest. Now, isn't this the prime time for Visit Isle of Wight to step up and fill that gap? I'm not going to hold my breath anytime soon because they haven't ever attempted to do anything like that. And I don't believe they're going to start now. Now, I could be made to eat my words, but I don't think I'm going to dine out on my own words anytime soon. Do you? I really don't. So what a shame. I think 10 years she's been doing this work, all this work, you know, it's just criminal. So I'm going to write to the councillors and say, well, who's going to step up and fill this in? You know, who's going to put all the information up on Visit Isle of Wight's website? Because it's certainly not them, because they don't like doing things like that, you know. And they've been they've been around for this will be their 9th year. They were in for 5 years with the bid, and then it had to go to reballot, and you know there was corruption and no ballot papers and all that sort of nonsense 4 years ago. It's coming up for ballot next year. Watch this space. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to talk about that anymore. I really don't want to talk much more at all, because I need to go and have a good old drink, maybe a little snack or something. I think I might be entitled to, and a little bit of knitting before I wind down and go to bed. So folks, I thank you so much for joining me. We have had 2 hours and 48 minutes and 39 seconds, and there's still a few of you here watching. So, you know, I hope, well, if I've bored you, I think you would have left. So hopefully I haven't bored you. Love all the interaction. Thank you so much, because if you didn't interact, I'd just be talking to my phone, and that would be a bit boring. So I do value you coming in, and it doesn't need to be 3 million of you. It could be 3 of you, and I would still do it. I think we've had a few more than 3 tonight. But it's wonderful, you know, and some of you have been coming into these broadcasts for a very long time, and you know, I really appreciate it. I really do. It's just so nice for me to sometimes I think it's a bit weird. I sit in my craft room or wherever I am just chatting to my phone. But it's lovely. I absolutely love the way that you interact with each other. You know, I mean, Tracy, obviously you needed a little bit of extra love tonight, and the members are giving it to you. And then, you know, we need to support each other, whatever Curveball's world is. Oh, Jane's just come in. Oh, Jane, what a shame you've missed it. I tell you what, Jane, it's been another wonderful evening. Tracy is saying she's threatening me now. She's not going to come in anymore if she doesn't get her gold star. So what do you think, folks? Do you think I better do her gold star for her? I seriously think I better do the gold star. Otherwise, I don't want to have a live stream where Tracy doesn't join us, because, you know, Tracy needs to be here with us. So Andrew's saying he can't believe he stumbled across me on a Facebook craft group over 4 years ago during COVID. I think Yvonne shared a live stream. Yeah, Yvonne shared a lot of my knitting across into craft groups. You know, it's sad that she can't join us at the moment. She's not very well at the moment, but I do keep in touch, and I did do a lot of messaging her yesterday or the day before, and I'm due to make a video call with her in the next day or so. So I will send everybody's love to her. Just the same night, and everyone, you're off to get ready for bed. So how many smoothie hats did you do all together while we were chatting, Patricia? You've probably done an extra one by now. Tracy's been watching since 2017. Jane will set an alarm for next week. So anybody watching in now, so Tracy, I don't know, Susan, if you're still there, if any of you could tag Jane next week when we go live, because that's what I do, Jane. If I go live and, you know, people haven't yet arrived, I get people to tag you, so it tags on your page so that you can see that we've gone live. So I'll see if we can get somebody, you know, to do that. Now next week I will be still here, because I'm not going back to my daughter's until the Monday. The reason I'm not going back over the weekend is because my daughter is doing things. I don't think they're at home, or some of them are at home and some of them are not home. So there was no point in going back to, you know, to keep my daughter company if she wasn't going to be there. So anyway, Jane's saying that would be helpful. So let's try and remember to, I mean, some of the people know others, you know, some of the viewers are very regular, so other people know them and would tag those. But let's remember to tag Jane next week as well. I'll see if I can remember that. Hopefully I can. And we would love to have you for the rest of the discussion. But if you want to hear what we were talking about, Jane, we have been live for nearly 3 hours. You may or you may not want to. It is much nicer if you can actually join in when it's live. If you know, some people like to just watch and don't ever want to join in. Susan says she'll try and remember. Tracy says she'll set an alarm to tag you, Jane. That's good. Lynn, the Go Live Granny Traveller. Well, I'm not travelling much this week. I'm only travelling around the island this week. But I've got to sort out and make the complaints about all the bad passenger assistance I had. So hopefully when I leave the island next week, I will get royal treatment. Lots of them do give me royal treatment, but I don't really want extra special treatment. I just want to be treated politely and well. That's it. But, you know, I don't mind if they do go the extra mile. That's okay too. And I actually, yes. I just remembered I didn't finish telling you about Jack. Somebody's doing a thumbs down. Did you mean to do a thumbs up? I hope it was supposed to be a thumbs up. Tracy's already put it on her alarm to tag you next week. That is customer service with a smile. That is worth another gold star, Tracy. Oh my goodness, all these promises I make. No, just remembered that I was telling you about the guy on the phone, the one from Basingstoke who was on the phone the previous week, telling them to what platform I was in. He wasn't my passenger assistance, this guy, this time when I was going back through Basingstoke, or coming the other way through Basingstoke. Jack was the one looking after me, and he was being very helpful. And Alan saw me, and he was over there. And you know, if I only I'd had time to stop and take selfies, but we were going to miss the train, so I didn't. But you know, when they say, "Oh, hello," and they actually follow you on your social media now, they're all following me. Lots of them are following me. All the passenger assist people. It's lovely. Tracy's also going to put an alarm to watch me next week, so she won't be late. Okay, all right. Well, that's a good idea. If you're telling Jane, it's a good idea to possibly come in yourself as well, because we love having you here. Imagine if there was a loyalty card for the ferry, you would be getting lots of free trips. I would, absolutely. Anyway, that's it, folks. I really do need to go. My throat is now telling me I need to stop talking and calm down and chill. It's been the most amazing day. Amazing, you know, my trip over to Freshwater. Lots of lovely people I met over there. Lots of people I chatted to. There was even a guy who said, I was trying to do a selfie in front of the sea. You know, the waves were crashing up. And this guy came over and he said, "Would you like me to do that?" And I was thinking, does he want to run away with my phone? Or does he look okay? Shall I let him take my photo? And I thought, I'm going to let you take my photo. And as I thought, oh, I'll do that, he said, "I could always run away with your phone." He must have been reading my thoughts. He said, "I'll tell you what, I'll give you my phone while I take your picture." So at least I would have had a phone. I didn't know it was a working phone. It might not have been it, but he did take some pictures of me, and that was very nice of him. I think he has had some drug issues in the past, but he, you know, I had a little bit of history from him as well. But it was just nice to pass a bit of time of day. And he took some good pictures as well, which I will put up on social media very soon. So, night, everybody. Thank you for coming in. Sorry we had shenanigans at the beginning of the broadcast again, like I always do. But, you know, I might get used to it in a year or two's time. Night, everybody. See you soon. Thanks for your love and your loyalty. Bye.